Hello, welcome or welcome back. I am your most illustrative host, Michael D. Nicole. This is the most recent drawing I worked on yesterday during stream. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that process. Finishing this finishing this piece. I've been doing this for years now, and you'd assume I would get better at enunciation and thinking before speaking. That is not the case. If anything, I've gotten worse. As I was saying, hello if you're new, hello if you're old. An old time, not an old person. You get what I'm saying. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to my YouTube subscribers, my Twitch subscribers, my followers on all the platforms. You are appreciated, very much so. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions specifically about illustration, technique, Procreate, I clearly am still learning, the same as anyone else. But I am more than happy to answer any and all questions you may have, especially if you're on the newer side to the learning to draw, or you're a big fan of comic nerddom. Hi, what should I draw? Well, my first instinct is draw what you love. My second inclination would be to do this, and I've never done this before. I'm going to do this off screen, because I don't know what's going to pop up if I search for this term, and I don't want any naughty bits popping up on screen. So I'm going to type in random art prompt. That's it. Here, I want to show you. This is what I've typed. Random art prompt. As you see, I've never typed that before. There's no history of me typing that in the browser. I'm going to type it. All right, bringing the camera back to me. Because listen, I got safe search off. I've got no moderation on my search, and you never know what's going to pop up there. And again, this is YouTube. I am on YouTube and Twitch, and they do not like any kind of naughty bits, especially not nipples. God forbid you see a woman's nipples, even though every single human being on this planet that was born, barring some genetic abnormality, has nipples. God forbid we see a woman's. All right. So okay. I've looked. These are some of the art prompts that I'm seeing. I'm seeing lists. But let me see. Art prompts. Art prompt. A prompt generator for artists. All right, here. We're gonna figure this out together. I found two. Random art prompt generator. So this one's pretty low rent. This one's pretty looks like it was built around 2005. This one looks a little bit more high end. Let's go with the high end first, because we're bougie like that. Welcome to the only art prompt generator made just for artists. All right, I'm gonna do this for me. Unless you want to do a challenge, I'm gonna do this for me. I'm gonna say I want to draw a character. Click on the refresh button below to get the prompt for a new character prompt. Refresh. Let's see. Wow, it didn't work. Great. Oh no! Oh, I see. I see. Oh, okay. Okay, I see here. Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf having a nice picnic. That's cute. The first one I got was he's hiding something dark and mysterious underneath those sunglasses. A man in a struggle with a bull shark. It's hilarious. All right, let me see what these prompts do. What? This is stupid. Anyway, here, if you go backwards, you go into images. You can see people made lists. So, you know, I know this is for Halloween, right? Or whatever the fuck. Like, they're usually for Drawtober or Inktober or whatever. What's today's date? Today's what, the 7th? 6th. So today's the 6th. What's the 6th? Oh, oops. Here. It says, when I was 10, bunny sticker. Work with that. This one says, gardening. This one says, ooh, critical hit. This one says I can't even make it out. These are shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. These are shit. These are crap. I haven't seen a single one yet. Arg. Here we go. Finally, something interesting. Just draw something here. Oracle. Draw a witch oracle. Or actually draw any one of them. Well, I don't want your list. Here, lunar witch. I happen to just draw as you guys saw the other day. I tried looking up for those two and failed miserably. What's up, Hypnos? These Inktober ones are usually a little cooler, in my opinion, because they, you know, they give you a little something more in your jam. These are just completely random. Like, these are just like using monochrome colors. Create a picture of a mercenary in a bus station. Dude, this is a lot. Like, no joke. This is like honestly, dude.
Like next week.
Rogers, thank you for 11 months of subscribing on twitch.tv/Michael D. Nicola. Thank you. Dude, this is a full 8-hour day. Unless you're doing doodles, like unless you're doing quick, like rough, create a picture of a mercenary in a bus station. Like, I'll you know what I'll do for you? I will thumb out this image. And what's up, Bard Ross? How are you? I will thumb out this image, a man in a struggle with a bull shark. That's a little bit easier, but still, again, a watchful shepherd. Now that's more my style, right? But I would say this is a little bland for me. So I'd say, okay, watchful shepherd, that's cool, but what's the twist, right? Because, you know, it's like even here, right? You got a Lolita witch, right? Rather than just draw a witch, right? It's like, no, draw a fucking necromancer, right? So like, here, you take this prompt. A watchful shepherd. Scooby says, a watchful hot lady shepherd. Sure, all right, we'll take that and we'll yes and it. We'll do a little improv. A watchful hot lady shepherd who is trained in necromancy. Now that is a fucking art prompt. Right now you got something to sink your teeth into. Let me see if I can dive in here. What was it? What do we have here? I'll be honest, I don't know what a watchful shepherd would even look like. Would they be like, fuck it. I'm just gonna keep the pen mode. Would they be doing one of those things where they've got like you know, like when you're looking out into the distance, you know, you're trying to shield your eyes from the sun, you know? Is it one of these kind of deals? So watchful. Bard Ross, draw a fucking cowboy necromancer. What's with you with the cowboy? Oh yeah, you're playing a Wild West. I've been watching Westworld. Man, what a great show. What a great show. I've been rewatching it. I'm on season 2 now. Yes, but are they die? What? Explain. And thank you, Hypnos. What's all right, so what are you guys working on today? I don't know what I'll be honest, I don't know what the hell a shepherd looks like. To be completely honest with you guys. I grew up in Queens, New York City. I didn't see a sheep until I went to my first petting zoo. Killed a patient today with kindness. How did they pass? Hypno says, I've tried looking up for those two and I failed miserably. How did you fail, Hypnos? A necromancer. A necromancer cowboy is fucking... Bard Ross, by the way, necromancer cowboy. Excellent. Loving that. Electrolyte imbalance wasn't my fault, but it happened. That's our big bad. Wait. Somebody can die from an electrolyte imbalance? I thought electrolytes were the stuff you get out of Gatorade. Arrhythmia. It's what your body craves. Yeah. Alright, here, this is a very bland stance. Let's try to judge this up. It's what plants want. Yeah, it is what plants want. Electrolytes. I thought they were good. Alright, here, let's do a little, let's change the camera angle, right? Let's change our... Let's have our horizon way up here instead of... So, alright, so if you're curious, this one is just basically a straight shot. Camera, you know, the horizon's like right there. This one, the horizon's like way... Like for this piece here, the horizon's way up here, allowing, you know, we're bird's eye view. You know, we're upstairs, we're looking downstairs. That's like 90% of nephrology, which is the rotation I'm on. I never even heard, dude, I never even heard of nephrology. I never even heard of electrolyte imbalance. Kidneys. Oh. Did they have pre-existing conditions? Was it something like that? Which is mostly about keeping your blood balanced. Whoa, blood balanced. Bard, can people live for a prolonged amount of time on dialysis? Yeah, tons of stuff. They were fucked. Ugh. Damn. Damn. Do you have... You know, I'm sure this isn't the first patient you've lost. Do you have a kind of like a coping mechanism? Maybe like a ritual of sorts? When you lose a patient? I've never witnessed death myself. I mean, obviously I've been to wakes and stuff, and I've seen, you know, I've seen loved ones who've passed on at the funeral home, but I've never witnessed, you know, the lights go off in front of me. People say it changes you. People say a lot of stuff changes you. You know, I feel like it's a case-to-case basis. Case-by-case basis. I had my hands in a guy's chest when he died last year. It was weird. I mean... Listen, that's that kind of comes with the territory, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's not substantial, and I'm not saying that a person dying while you're either operating or trying to help them medically is something that should be blasé or is clearly profound. With that said, it's shit. It's kind of part of the gig, right? As a horrible thing that is to say or even hear aloud. You know, human death. Most job you know, when you're applying to your gig on LinkedIn and you're getting a list of occupational hazards, generally sometimes people are going to die on you in the middle of your job. It's usually not part of the job description. Bard Ross says, It really depends on the patient and if it was preventable or not. I had my hands in a guy's chest when he died last year. It was weird. You know, gotta feel alive. Usually I have sex, but that's not really an option right now. Hello, thank you, Liz. No one gets out alive, right? That person is just going where we're all going eventually. Fuck, you know what? I don't have my water, so I'm just gonna drink some of my coffee right now. I'll get my water when I take my pee break later, Liz. Hello, Eric Canetti.
This is a serious conversation that I walked into, Michael Denicola.
Well, Bard Ross was at work today and one of his patients died.
Oh, suck. I'm sorry,
man. So, again, not a great day at the office, I'm assuming. But Bard's a big boy. He's a smart man. He knows what he was getting into. Yeah, see, he's just, it happens. Yeah, not great. That one was inevitable. Yeah. So again, not something to take lightly, not something to brush off, I don't think. I think but it's helpful to have a healthy amount of self-awareness, and I think Bard has that. And then some. But you know, Bard, do you think over time, as you become more of an established, matured medical professional, that you'll be able to, that this will be, I don't want to say old hat, but something that you've dealt with for so long? You think you'll be numb to it at all? Do you think you'll grow kind of a callus, an emotional callus of sorts, the same way you would if you were learning to play the guitar and climbing mountains, or lifting weights? But emotionally.
Who's to say that they haven't already, Michael?
Wait, what was that?
I said, who's to say that they haven't already? You know,
I don't know.
Like in a job like this, wouldn't you kind of have to sort of, as part of your preparation, wouldn't you think? And by the way, this is obviously only a question that Bard would be able to answer, but me just hypothetically thinking about it, you're like, you would have to kind of steel yourself for something like this, no?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's a good question. Good question.
Bard Ross says, I mean, that's just part of getting older in general. I've gotten more accustomed to it, mostly from personal loss. You lose enough people and it becomes normal.
Oof.
That is profoundly sad, and yet this is a unfortunate truth of life. I mean, I think most of us here would like to live a long and healthy life. However, I've witnessed relatives of mine live into their 90s, and first off, it's not pretty towards the end, but it's not pretty for anyone towards the end. But even before that, there is a kind of loneliness there. You're kind of the last man standing. For my cousin's grandmother, she lived to almost 100, and she was in a home and all that, and she had most of her faculties to the last year or so. But it was her sisters, her husband, I think even one of her children. Like she had lived so old, she'd lived so long, she'd grown so old that it's just everyone in her life, barring the younger generations, but every one of her peers was gone. Every person that she grew up gone. There's something quite sad to even living a very long and healthy life. What I'm saying is it's filled with misery and dread. So so enjoy.
But also full, right?
No, of course. She's got like a fucking dozens and dozens of grandchildren, you know.
Here it is.
Yeah. I've gotten more accustomed to mostly from personal loss. But that's the thing. That's not sad. It's part of life. I think it is and it isn't. I don't think that it's not sad, and I don't think that it is something else. It's just it's all completely fucking objective. It all depends on the vanishing point in which you're viewing these events. What's up,
So can you
Praetor?
imagine outliving the people that you had all of these memories with? You know,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, there are some folks that live so long that they outlive their own children, you know?
Oh, that's
Yeah, isn't that wild? Like, yeah, dude, if you live into your 90s and, you got a kid in their 70s, I mean, shit happens. you know? Fuck. Grief is sad, but dying itself isn't inherently sad. If you have regrets, that's one thing too. If it's brutal, that's another. But living a good life, being able to say goodbye, that shit's as much as you can ask for. Goodbye. You know what? It's
what is this Wednesday? You know, it's a Wednesday.
welcome
Ramp it down
to
a little bit.
yeah, tamp it down,
Yeesh.
Bard Ross. Jeez, it's Hump Day. You don't know when GTA 6 will come out? Archangel trying to take a
that.
hard left off the turnpike.
Yeah. Drove that bus and jerked that bus off
Yeah.
to the left. You know,
It's like
I love it.
Keanu Reeves in Speed.
That was not elegant, but it was necessary. One could say.
Yeah. Yeah. It was either that or keep talking about Brokeback Necromancy. I thought it was today. I don't know. You know, honestly, I don't know. The last Rockstar game I played was Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm super pissed that they completely bailed on the online infrastructure. I mean, when I say bailed, they barely invested in anything at all with it because it wasn't as much of a moneymaker but as GTA 5, but it could have been if they had just, I think, pushed for it. It could have
Do
been a
you
lot
think
more than
there's
what
a
it was.
line? Do you think there's a financial, monetary line where they go, well, we spent X amount and we're not seeing the returns?
That again, not behind closed doors, but I would gather, you invest a bunch of money. Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out. It earned a massive amount of money. It was critically acclaimed, an excellent single player. However, the online, the microtransactions, the online community wasn't nearly as vast as GTA 5, and GTA 5 was still earning them countless millions of dollars annually because people were still consumed by it. So even after Red Dead had been released, they were still focusing the majority of their post-game launch content at Rockstar on GTA 5 updates. Which didn't help.
Right, okay.
So like it's
I
kind
see
of
what you're getting at.
it's kind
I
of
see
like
what
a
you're
downward spiral, right?
getting at.
The new game shows up. People are interested in online content, but you don't invest more research. You don't invest your resources into that because it's not an earner. But it can't be an earner unless it's kind of a chicken or egg.
Source and it's self-fulfilling is what you're getting at.
Right. So the DLC that they had the first year or so was okay, but you could really tell they weren't truly invested in it the way they were GTA 5, and you couldn't blame them because it's not a cash cow. But then that just kept happening until eventually I think this last year there wasn't any new roles installed or any real substantial DLC, and basically Rockstar is more or less said that Red Dead Online is because they announced that GTA 6 is coming, and we know that's where their interests lie. I want Rockstar to do something different, more linear, story focused.
That doesn't have any. Does that have any long-term money in it? As because things are trending closer to games as a service now, right? Like,
Well, I mean,
that's where things are heading.
it's
I guess is
the
what I'm
business
saying.
model, right? So companies have to, if you have a giant corporation like Rockstar, I think are they partially owned by Take-Two? Uncertain. They want not just a successful game, they want a successful continuous online community that will perpetually pay for all the loot boxes and other microtransactions, whatever you could think of, right? Coins, because they want to make that money in perpetuity, right? They don't want. It's not enough for them to sell a game to you, a single linear storied game that has a beginning and end, and eventually DLC that you'll have to fork over some money for. No, that's not the name of the game currently. For giant AAA companies, with saving CD Projekt Red, FromSoft is another company that both these companies have been very vocal and very very outspoken as far as them being against those types of games as service. They have a very old school mentality, even though Cyberpunk was kind of a bit of a flop. Still, no microtransactions. It was released prematurely, but you could tell that they had a very linear story in mind for the consumer to play, and then once played, a bunch of replayability, and then that's it. I mean, Elden Ring was a perfect example of that very thing. A game that I played for, a couple hundred hours, I think, over the course of a couple months or so. Amazing. I mean, the lore, the game mechanics. I know people shit on the graphics, but I think they're full. I think that's asinine. I think the graphics are beautiful. The character design, just the plot of the game itself, just truly remarkable. And I, for one, can't wait for DLC to show up for Elden Ring. I'll be the first in line to download that. But it's not a game as service, right? I didn't have to give them my credit card. I didn't have to, they weren't trying to sell me new skins. They weren't trying to convince me to gamble on loot boxes to unlock some God knows what for online content. No, they and I think that the FromSoft CD Projekt Red way of doing things, I think that has lots of avid gamers, has them excited. I think that's because I've seen it again. This is all anecdotal, but when you talk on places where gamers gather, it sounds corny and a little cringe, but places like Twitch, places like Reddit, other social media platforms, you hear people are actually championing these companies, FromSoft, and again, CD Projekt Red kind of dropped the ball a little bit, but generally speaking, right? They're working on the next Witcher game, and people are very, very excited about. But then you hear, there are other companies like Rockstar that is not they are 100% in the business of selling you lots of trinkets on the online space for all of the money. Blizzard as well. I mean, Activision is one of the fucking worst. EA also fucking terrible. Dude, was it EA that launched Battlefront, where it was basically they turned Battlefront 2 into a pay-to-win game, where there was a ton of backlash because in Battlefront 2, if you spent money on loot boxes, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you got superior weaponry. You got superior gear. It was the exact thing that most gamers, fucking hate. And they turn an online game into something that where the more money that you invest in a game that you've already bought, the more money additionally that you spend will give you a leg up in any kind of competitive play, which it feels unfair. So I don't, what the fuck do I know? Hello Praetor, hello Melee, hello YouTube chat. What are you working on right now, Eric?
Stuff that I can't talk
about. Oh, okay. Private stuff. Oh, dude, I wanted to talk to you about that email from Ron. Did you see it earlier?
No. Good? No good?
No, it's they launched the commission thing, and they have questions.
Yes. Oh, they have questions for us.
Yeah, they're asking for an email blast from your, from the Kennedy camp.
Yeah. Yep. That's easy enough to do, I suppose. We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
Let me clear this thing off of my I'm currently doing this. And,
yeah, no, of course.
I don't like deprioritizing something like that, which I find, our partnership, our relationship with them invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things on my plate, something is going to suffer. And it's unfortunate that it's them. But at current, there's no way for me to accommodate everybody.
Listen.
I'll get to it ASAP.
For the most part.
I think you've been doing a phenomenal job, by the way.
Thanks, buddy. I actually got to update it today. After stream, I'll update the files for today's release because I update on Wednesdays.
You're a good guy.
For those of you who don't know, if you want to read Arc Athena Volume 1, it's on A Zest World. Here we go. First issue is On the House. Consecutive issues, including behind-the-scenes art. You got to fork over a little dough, but I consider it a absolute steal.
Especially if you're elsewhere in the world where you can get access to a physical copy of the book.
Exactly.
Or worth.
Gotta run my good to see you. Tell Eric I'm digging Arc. Can't wait for Volume 3. All right, wow, Roger's already blasted through it. Liam Sharp had a new comic come out today, Starhenge. Anyone check it out? No, I'm unfamiliar with Liam Sharp's work. Is he...
You'd recognize them.
You think
He may not have been followed back in the day, but ex-Marvel person,
Oh, okay. Yeah, then in that case. So where they released Indiegogo, Kickstarter?
I think it was Kickstarter, wildly successful. I think it may be the third installment. Forgive me, I wasn't paying attention. What I do know is that, based on his creative efforts doing creator-owned stuff,
Yeah.
He says he was very open about this, and he had said this a while ago, but he says that just the stuff that he's doing right now for himself under his own steam has allowed him to sort of take control of his financial future in such a way that was never available to him back when he was working the mainstream.
Wow. God, that's fucking... First off, excellent. That's great,
yes,
but also fucking heartbreaking. So yeah,
yes.
In the same breath, kind of like we were talking earlier, things are both sad and beautiful at the same time. This is something that's both incredible for him and also hauntingly horrible for those who are struggling in comic books, trying to make a decent wage.
Yes. It is to say that, and mind you, he's notable. I mean, I know him. I know of his work. I know of his tenure at Marvel Comics, right? I think it was Hulk, right, that he was on for a little while. That's the one I know him of the most, right? He back in the day, he went and did like Marvel UK, which had like Death's Head,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So it is to say that he's been around the block a few times, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And keep in mind, again, he wasn't like an Image co-founder or anything like that. He was definitely like a guy that you knew. But imagine if somebody in this recent crop of people, I'm not picking on them, but let's say Brian Hitch finally decides, screw it, I'm going to go off on my own. If Liam Sharp can do it, right? Fucking Brian Hitch can do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's unfortunate that he hasn't yet.
I mean, I'm not going to name them personally, but there are definitely comic book creators whose name, if you're familiar with the industry, whose names most people would recognize, who, are definitely appear to be struggling financially, or They passive aggressively lament about their own finances on social media, and you think to yourself, wait up, this guy's been in the industry 20, 30 years. How does it seem like he's here, there, struggling? It's shit. Later angle. He's apparently really far in production. The comic is gorgeous. There is a modern female character whose voice I really dislike, but overall the book's very cool. Praetor, do you have any art that I could check out?
I think it's all digitally painted as well. It's very painterly.
Yeah, that's exactly what Praetor said. Yeah, I can't think of a painterly comic book I've read in. I mean, I've seen some painterly backgrounds in the past, but not a full-blown. No, none that's coming to mind.
This may not be your cup of tea, Mike. I don't know where you are on, not necessarily stylized, but definitely maybe not your kind of stylized kind of look.
Okay.
But it's neither here nor there, right? The point is, my admiration for him comes from the fact that he took his professional future into his own hands and came up roses,
Yes.
So all due respect to Liam Sharp for doing it.
Absolutely. No, I don't really have anything to check out right now. Okay, all right. I'll have to just take a look in my spare time to see what Liam Sharp's stuff is looking like. It's sci-fi a la heavy metal magazine.
Yeah, It kind of feels like not the exact type. Yeah, it's definitely heavy metal. Definitely heavy metal. Got a little bit of Fifth Element going on, in as much as Fifth Element is also heavy metalish, right?
Oh, sure.
What do you got going on?
Right now, I haven't done a full-blown pin-up off the top of my head in a while. I just want to see if I could bang this out quick as shit. Quick. Just drop a link, Betty, or post it in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Easy peasy.
You ever find a brush in your toolkit or your tool set, and you're like, oh, I wonder why I don't use this brush enough. This feels good right now. And then you might take it up for a spin. You're like, oh, I remember now.
That hasn't happened in a while because I've been very particular. I haven't gone exploring in a while. That's why that hasn't happened. I've been but every now and then I'll try one that I don't recognize. And then it's the opposite. It's like, oh, this sucks. I don't like this line, is too jagged or
No, that's what I meant. It's like I go, oh, it's in my brush set.
Oh, I see.
I remember being quite impressed by it when I guess I saw it for the first time. I wonder why I never used it, and then I'll take it out for a spin. I'm like, oh, I remember now.
Yes. Okay, yes. In that case, absolutely. I haven't checked out any news or anything like that today.
What have you been doing with your time?
I was mostly just with the wife. I was working on some YouTube shorts earlier. Yeah, I was hanging out with the wife. I was making some YouTube shorts. God, what else was I doing? House stuff, boring house stuff.
Basically, living a life away from the all-encompassing nature of the internet.
Yes, I didn't watch any YouTube videos. I wasn't on Twitter or TikTok or anything like that, so I missed any of the daily hullabaloo that is the nightmare of social media. Too bad.
Good for you. What happened today? Even I don't know.
Yeah, beats me. I mean, yesterday we were talking about the unfortunate shooting that happened in Chicago and Philadelphia. God, there was
Has that person been captured? Have they been found
yeah,
and
yeah, they caught him.
thrown under a jail? Okay.
They caught him alive, unfortunately.
Oh, what was it? Was it like a mental instability on their part? What is it? Did they at least say, "Hey, this person is an escaped convict from Arkham Asylum"? Because that shit's awful.
No, I think they were actually a white dude, tattoos on the face, SoundCloud rapper. But apparently, like that was
No.
that was going to Trump rallies too. They spotted him at. He apparently also had like some kind of manifesto on YouTube. I don't know, man. I truly don't know anymore.
Too much. Don't you think it's too much now?
Yeah, dude. There was also a couple shootings in Scandinavia over the last few weeks. There was one in Norway and Oslo, and there was just one in Denmark, Copenhagen, this past weekend, I believe. It might have been this past week.
It's notable not because of its tragedy, which it probably is, but also because isn't it rare to have any sort of shooting from that side of the world, especially that country? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I had never up until that point I'd never heard anything like that happening on that side of the world. Those countries, they're supposed to be I thought those were supposed to be the happiest places in the world. Those Scandinavian nations.
Getting less and less happy, I suppose.
Well, somebody ain't happy.
Somebody, yeah, that specific person is low on the happiness scale.
The guy looks like he could have been Arkham. You haven't seen the Trump-style chaos in the UK then? Wait, what's going on in the UK, Scooby Club?
Going on in the UK?
I don't know. Again, I've been out of the loop this afternoon.
Suspect.
Because sometimes it's too much.
Didn't happen just like today.
Yeah, listen.
I mean, sometimes it's all too much.
I could do a little bit of it. It's like
You can?
Like it's like a little spice. It's like, ooh, that stinks, but okay, move on to something better.
Yeah.
But it's all spice now.
Oh, let me ask you this. Is it genuinely allspice now? Or the news outlets that you didn't know how to do spice back in the day have learned how to do spice?
I think it's a combination of hate and division, incendiary titles of articles that ignite one political party or another. Like, these are what gains ad revenue and clicks and gets shares and all that.
Sure.
And they also, by way of that, they also drive social media attention. So what ends up happening is you get this kind of awful escalation and exacerbation. These two things that feed off each other. They get more attention from social media. And this goes for just about any, you right, left, whatever. You write something incendiary and awful with a clickbaity title. People that hate what you've written will click and share. And people who absolutely agree and are polarized by your article will also click and share, and vice versa, and just back and forth. And this permeates on websites, on news feeds, on social media, because it's the marketing is, they worry about engagement, not the kind of engagement it brings, but just engagement, period. And if you're not careful, if you don't have a surgical, like, decisiveness in choosing what your content feed looks like, you will absolutely get sucked in. It is human nature. We've all watched the various documentaries on these social media sites. They are built to snatch you in a trance. They are built to grab you and keep your focus solely on your screen. So if you're not careful, you will, and I have, you'll get sucked in.
How much more aware are you of that now?
Way more than I was in the past.
Yeah. Perfectly said.
But I'm far from perfect in regards to that. I find myself, I fire up Twitter, or less so on Instagram. I think that's why Instagram is one of my preferred content platforms, because it's mostly, if you look at my feed, it's all art. I actually don't follow anyone, so I have to go to my recommended feed and scroll through, and they just show me art.
I just learned about that. I just learned about that. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, the upper left-hand corner, there's a button that you can press." I'm like, "What? Lies?" And they're like,
yeah.
"Nope."
Yeah, so my recommended feed has become my just feed now. So I just and it serves up pretty interesting art, pretty compelling stuff. A lot of it is same. So I did notice a lot of the art that I follow. Same, SAME.
Same.
So by that I mean, because most content creators are their own marketing team, and it does pay to be on all the various platforms simultaneously. So what's funny is I'll pick up my phone and I'll go to my Instagram recommended feed and take a look at, just scroll through a little bit, see what pops up, and I'll say, oh, this looks really neat. And then later on in the day, usually when I'm sitting at my desk, I like to pull up ArtStation, and I usually hit the trending tab on ArtStation because I like to see what the contemporaries are up to. Especially what hits the trending tab on ArtStation is truly creators new and seasoned that have hit just an expertise level of competence in their work. So I mean, ArtStation trending is really just upper echelon, top notch work, but there's a lot of crossover. Like I will see on ArtStation basically a piece that I've already liked on Instagram just earlier that day. But that's the move, right? That's the smart move. You want, as an artist, especially freelance artists, you want to have your work shown to as many eyes as possible. But yes, that's where I like to hide on the internet. But when I'm doing that, I could tell you some cool. I could point you to some very cool art I saw today. But as far as like social media, current events, and current turmoil is concerned, I'm not your man. At least this afternoon.
Admirable.
Okay, let's see. Scooby Club says 48 members of the government resigned, but our Prime Minister Boris Johnson is in denial mode and refusing to resign. It's a new record for resignations in a day. Why all the resignations? It's been a long time coming. He's been up to all sorts of shenanigans, appointing a known sex menace. Menace was the last straw. What do you... Elaborate, please?
A lot. That's a lot.
But yeah, 48 resignations. And how big is your parliament? Or is it just members of the government, not necessarily parliament? I don't know much about the inner workings of the UK's.
I wasn't even referring to like the I was more talking about just that's a lot of drama.
Oh yeah.
A lot to digest, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Liam Sharp's stuff. Yes, I've seen this before. Praetor dropped some links of Liam Sharp's work in the art channel of the Discord.
Good.
Yes,
nice, right?
It is very. I'm getting some Frazetta vibes from this. At least the pieces that he posted in the art channel on the Discord. I'm getting Frazetta. I'm getting heavy metal. Wow, it's digital, do you say?
I think it is.
Incredible. If you had told me that was fully painted, I would I wouldn't have doubted.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be, right? Or it could be traditionally painted, digitally enhanced, whatever, you know?
Right, right, right.
The point is, he's getting shit done. Respect.
He is. 48 members of government. Yeah, see, well, that's what I mean. I'm so out of the loop. Had no idea that that was happening across the pond.
So that's admirable.
I think you have to hit. You have to find for you. I think it's in your best mental health interest to find the line, whereas you are informed but not consumed by current events.
So,
But my goodness, in this day and age, that is a fine, that is a fine line.
yeah,
Boy,
yeah.
much easier said than
It
done.
could be argued that somebody, if it's a basin of how much they can handle, people's capacity might be more than others, right?
Absolutely, yes, very true.
But I would argue, like, if you do have the capacity to handle that kind of, why would you spend it on that? You know?
Yeah, no, there's only. I think, as human beings, we have a finite pool of resources each and every day. Clearly, a finite amount of time, but also a finite amount of physical and mental energy in which to spend, and that is about as precious as it gets. So you have to be very selective on what you choose to put in your expose yourself to. Yeah, there are some content creators on YouTube and other platforms who, like, this is their bread and butter, is basically more or less being online reporters in that regard. Current events, but current events told through the average Joe lens.
Right. And definitely not just like reporting for the sake of reporting. They have a particular take on it as well, don't they?
Yes, there are a handful of guys. There are a
It's
handful of
okay.
guys.
I
Yeah, no,
mean,
of course. I guess my point being, I don't know how they do it. I do not know
yeah,
how they are
yeah,
able to day in, day out
yeah.
get in the mix, because you have to see it all. Like, if you're going to adequately report or do breakdowns of what's going on in the world, to inform your community, to inform your followers, and to again, to be informed about, to have like as reasonably informed opinion that you can have in order to give your opinion on what's going on. Oh God, I feel like you're I feel like you're exposing yourself to radiation, except in a.
Well, one would hope, right? Sometimes you're asking a lot by saying, like, oh, these people really do dive in and do. I mean, I'm not using what you're saying. This isn't what you're saying verbatim, but, doing the research, doing the looking into, doing the background. But there are
Yeah,
some people whose YouTube channels, they're just like, oh, whatever, you know.
that's true too. Yeah,
I'm just
some
gonna say this out loud, you know.
yeah some it's more about it's more about either pandering to their audience or just coming up with a hot take. But God, that's that's not how I would like to present anything myself. It's not my cup of tea. And also, I don't generally try to watch. I don't. I try to avoid people like that, channels like that.
And also, here's the part that confuses me, but it's not up to me to figure out. There's so many channels that are like that. They're talking about not necessarily the version that you and I are talking about, which is like they don't do the research or whatever it is, just a hot take channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, let's say they do the research, they do the background, they kind of look into it, you know. There's so many channels like that. I don't know how they grow in that space. I don't know how they built an audience to begin with, and yet they seem to be doing okay for themselves, you know, which is that's the fascinating part for me. Like, how did you build that? There's so like, how did you make one more brown sugar cola? You know, when there's
Right.
so much brown sugar cola out there already.
Right. Great, great question. I don't know, man. I don't know. I also don't know how they keep it up.
Yeah,
Cause
dude, I don't know how you keep it up. We were talking, you know, in Sled Gang, we were talking about, oh yeah, you know, you don't stream anymore, Eric, blah blah blah, right? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm fucking, I don't know how to do it. So, you know, I don't know how you do it. You've been doing this for what feels like a decade now. How long have we known each other? I think you've been doing it that long, you know?
yeah, in some form, at least the better part of
Yeah,
a decade. The decade, if not
yeah.
a full decade.
It's fucking crazy.
You know
Crazy.
what?
Respect is
I
what
don't.
I'm getting at.
Thanks, buddy. I don't think about it anymore. I just do. Um, I mean, in regards to, and I say that in regards to going live, setting up. I'm on autopilot. In regards to the other stuff, which I'm trying to do my best to focus more on these days, which is being more thinking specifically as to what I'm trying to grow on social media rather than just, I don't want to say mindlessly posting, but you know, posting my work, going about my day, being a little bit more cognizant of the choices that I'm making in regards to what I'm posting on social media platform and what kind of audience I'm trying to build and cater towards on these platforms.
You're being mindful of that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's important going forward for this channel, for the rest for the rest of the social media. Just have a kind of cohesion here. Uh, oh man, I noticed John didn't post a YouTube video this week.
Suck it, John. I'm sorry. Yeah, that sucks.
Where is that guy?
I love it because I know he listens to this
He does
later
like to
on.
listen to it after the fact. That little
Yeah.
rascal. No, but I did see yesterday. I haven't looked at Sled Gang yet. I've been meaning to catch up on Sled Gang. I like to. I actually haven't been on Discord at all. Like I said earlier today, I hadn't been on any social media platforms at all today. Basically, just was living like a human being, normal, like, and then I got on here. I did notice that John last night said that he is between Urban Animal and various commission work that he'd picked up. He said that he's swamped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys,
Now, let me ask you this: do you believe him? Because I don't.
well, he is a
He's
notorious
lied to me
liar.
so many times. Yeah. I was gonna say he's lied to us so many times. At this point, it's tough to cut through the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
John, guess if I'm lying, tee hee, amore. Up to his
Yeah.
old tricks
I
again.
genuinely, I gotta be honest with you. I don't think that he's the actual artist for Urban Animal. I think that's somebody else more competent.
Listen, I wouldn't believe it. It's probably his friend Denim Catfish. She's probably doing all the work.
I knew it. I knew it. I'd bet good money.
You
I
know,
really hope he listens to this later.
I could.
More, not just because of the fact that, you know, it's fucking hilarious, but of all the people that you could have picked, to say, hey, it's probably this person.
Oh god.
He's gonna rise out of bed like a summoned Dracula,
Yeah.
like a summoned Universal Studios mummy.
Yep.
I think just because that's in the air, you know.
Hands across his chest.
Yeah,
Rise.
he's just on his way, is what I'm saying. And you are fucked if he
Yep.
walks in here.
I'm catching a beating.
And it wasn't even the joke, you know. It wasn't even the fact that he wasn't the one drawing it, but you used a particular individual
Yeah. I compared him to his favorite artist of all time.
of all time.
of all
There
time.
it is. Let's just continue to dig this fucking ditch, this grave, deeper and deeper. Are you saying you're going on autopilot now, right? You just turn it on. This is not necessarily because you don't care about it, but right now you don't think about it anymore because it's how would you say it's because it's kind of become old hat for you, right?
Yes, specifically in regards
Specific.
to streaming specifically. There was a time in my life where I would actively get nervous beforehand.
Did you really?
And yeah, no, it was a oh my god, Eric, during the Periscope days, remember those? During the Periscope days, the idea of me turning my phone on and having somebody look over my proverbial shoulder while I work was horrifying to me at the time.
Really?
Yeah. And I think it was because I hadn't had that many hours underneath my belt.
Oh, sure. Sure.
So I knew I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be. I mean, I'm still not where I want to be, but you know, in regards to that specifically, I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be. So I knew all of my flaws and mistakes would be laid bare for anyone and everyone to, you know, witness. And that was the hesitation, you know, that was what caused the nerves.
Yeah, and yet you still turn the camera on anyway.
Well, I never said I was a smart man, Eric.
All right. Just
Yeah. No, well, you know, I we've had this conversation before. Generally speaking.
No, we haven't, Mike. No, we haven't. That's not me that you had that conversation with.
No, we've had a similar
You
conversation.
don't talk to me about this stuff.
No, I've absolutely 100% have told you before when it comes to tackling a new creative endeavor and I get nervous, when I do feel butterflies in my stomach, that's generally when I make myself do the thing I don't want to do. Unless it's something like that I don't want to do for like other more logistical reasons, but if the reasoning just is I've never done this before and I'm nervous about doing it, that's when I usually do the opposite of going with my gut. My gut instinct is to, okay, well then this means I've got to do it then.
I think the messaging behind that, I mean, that concept is pretty amazing. But let me say this: you've never discussed that with me before, ever.
Okay, fair.
It may have been Dave Tran.
Davey T, you fucking animal. Oh, where is he? I gotta get him over. You know what? I don't think I have that man's phone number. I don't.
John?
I'm gonna search for Tran.
I mean, the way I said it, as if I assume that I do, but I don't think I have it either.
I don't have his phone number. I was gonna shoot him a text. Well, I can't ask him for it now, because then he's gonna say,
What?
"What do you want it for?" And I'm gonna say, "Don't you worry about it, big boy. Never you mind your pretty Vietnamese head about any
I
of it."
think he has a point of reference when it comes to how you abuse that kind of information. Just, like out of nowhere, I remember you would just call Crease for, like, the kid would probably just sitting at home drawing his comics,
Yeah.
and you, because you have no self-censor button, would just call that kid random style, you know?
Yeah.
Just to check in.
Just put him right on the. Just put him right on immediately. Not even really giving much of a heads up. But, oh hey, you're gonna be on mic on a hot mic.
No. That would be different. You would actually, that's actually a level of courtesy you've never extended to him. You would just call him and start talking. You don't prompt him. It's not like ring, and then he's like, "Hey, Mike, what's going on? Oh, dude, you're hot right now. We're live and we're on air." No, you just start talking to him.
Yep.
Now, thankfully, that kid just lives a life of tact, and he doesn't say anything sort of offsides or,
No.
you know what I mean? Like anything that can just could come back to haunt him later on. But the fact that you said that, oh, you just go into it, you don't tell him is what I'm getting at. So that was a blatant lie on your end.
Nothing untoward
That was a
said by
lie.
Crease.
Yeah.
Thankfully. What's up?
Okay, so that said, I think that's the reason why Dave Tran would not give you his number. He just knows you better.
Oh, I'm gonna get that number. You
Right.
have to call immigration services on him.
Come on, see, this is the reason. This is it.
Could you imagine I call Dave up and pretending to be like Canadian immigration services?
Do they have immigration services in Canada?
They must.
They must.
Okay, we flagged your citizenship, Mr. Tran.
You have to call him by his given name for him to take you seriously, I suspect.
I don't
You
know
know his real name's not Dave.
No, I don't know his real name. I don't know his Vietnamese name. Do you?
I do, but I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, shit.
I'm just kidding. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't like him that much.
Do you think John
Do you know that John Amore isn't his real name?
I was going to ask you, I'm like, do you think John Moore's got like a super like hardcore, not a Spaniard based, but like a really like a native Filipino based name?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. That is a fact. It's not public, but for sure he does. Should ask him about it.
Well, now I want to know that too.
What the fuck? Why don't you know that one? Isn't it like Jesus? Isn't it Jesus and one?
It's Juan, right? I believe it's Juan. But I don't think he's another one. Hi, welcome to Michael Tries to Dox His Friends live on stream.
I was going to say, let's do that. Let's do that more.
What's up, Angle? Hello, Tuog. Tuog, who's that? Is that your I don't know who Caitlin is, but hey, buddy. Hey, how's Mateo doing? Haven't talked about that guy in a while.
Talk about doxing. Yeah, he's okay. He's had a kid.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned that. He got a lady pregnant. So are they hitched or?
Well, yes, but we don't open with that. You know? We don't say, hey, there's better ways to communicate. Anyway, I get what you're saying. Continue.
Yeah. Is she Mrs. Mateo, or are they just like chilling and?
Yes. It's just some random lady on the street, or is that what you're saying?
Because I think I could have sworn I had heard that.
Yeah. What'd you hear?
She got preggers when she was his GF.
I like these. If this is not true,
I'm just making this up.
We're gonna spread this around a little bit more.
Yes. Mateo just banging ladies, just filling them up.
Ladies. Again, I wouldn't say it like that, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, I'm good. Are they? I'm assuming they're.
Baby's healthy. Baby, like I don't know what it is. My kids came out and they're itty bitty. They still are. Mateo's kid came down and is like, oh, that's a linebacker. You know, I mean that kid's fed on whole like real Italian food as opposed to United States food.
Interesting. See, I'd imagine that Italian, because Italians are notoriously smaller. You know.
Are they notoriously in what sense? Like,
they're little. You know, like most Italian men I've met are 5'5", 5'6", on the smaller end, versus like Scandinavians who are giants.
You are a weird sort of freak of nature. I don't know where you came from.
True. That's true.
You're like freakishly tall. You know.
That is true. Scooby says they are on the small side.
Italians or babies? Because babies, that makes sense.
Babies.
You're supposed to be small.
And I assume baby. I'd also assume baby Italian, but maybe their babies are big and they just stay that way through adulthood.
This kid's a big kid. I saw pictures of him.
But then, then you got you've always got your genetic abnormalities like Crease, for example.
Yeah. Well, Crease didn't start out that size. You know,
he came out that long.
He didn't come out of his mom in an embryonic sac at 6 foot something already.
Shredded that vagina up.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you know how Luke Skywalker needed a new
Why are you
bionic hand?
gross? Why no, 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 hold on. Why are you disgusting?
That's where my mind. That's where I live. That's where. Yep. That's where my nasty brain exists. They are on the small side, Scoob. Scoob, what are you? What's your ethnicity?
For you? That's elegant. That's really.
Scottish.
As a Scot, it's known that Italians have small babies. Is that what it is?
According to Scooby, Scoob knows the Italians are
Mm.
little. How? What about the Scottish? Are they?
The big kids?
Yeah.
Listen, you were making a point about Scandinavians. I think you're right on that too.
No,
Which
they're
is,
just fucking giants. I think.
Yeah, they're.
I think the average height of somebody in God, was it Norway? Is like 5'11" or something like that. It's crazy.
Babies?
Babies come out 5'11". That's right.
I don't know.
They just fall out. They fall out of their
Point
giant
guard
mothers.
for the New York Knicks.
They immediately join the baby NBA. What's up, Angel? Angle.
Aside, I miss talking to John. I wish he would hang out more. But I totally understand if he's quote unquote drawing urban animal. You know what? I really hope that flops on him so he can hang out more. You know.
I don't know if I've I
You've
don't
ever
know if
read this series?
never heard of it before. I don't know if him and I have ever discussed his plans moving forward after Urban Animal is over and done with.
You know what? In as much as I think, as you thought that you've had this conversation with me before, I think you have talked about it with John, and just simply forgotten.
That would track. That makes sense.
Is that not on brand?
That's 100% on brand.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what it is. I think he may be trying to find, maybe lining things up. I would hope so. I hope that he's learned his lesson with Urban Animal, you know?
Never again.
Yeah, they like, don't do that again. That is a money and time suck, you know? Wait, speaking of, Dave got the Urban Animal collection. The, what do you call it?
The
The
hardcover.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, I got mine too last week.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you show it off?
I did not show it off. I haven't cracked it open yet. I
All right.
I opened the
All
first
right.
couple pages because John drew me in there once. He killed me off like in the first like 3 panels. So because I'm a narcissist, I picked it up and I took a look at it.
Let me say this. In the tenure of our friendship and our relationship, John's book has come out, and you only looked at it because of the fact of you just had to scratch that itch of being a narcissist. However, you immediately showed Arcathina off on screen
I
the
did.
moment it arrived.
Arcathina, it's
So
literally in my
let's-
left hand
like,
right now on camera.
We are better friends.
I
You and I
guess,
are
yep.
better friends than you and John are better friends.
You know, John's absence. Absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder. It makes the heart
does
weary.
not. Yeah, it makes the it makes the heart resentful.
Scotland's quite small. Dutch are like giants. Scandinavians also. Yeah, the Dutch are another one. Huge.
Dutch, really?
Yeah,
Dutch.
huge people. Yeah, yeah. Weirdly enough, just the people in the Netherlands. Enormous.
What is that? Just a regional thing?
I don't
Is it their
know.
Viking blood?
Because they're surrounded. You know, it's like, you know, the Netherlands is kind of. It's not like they're off there on their own weird island. They're in the mix. You know. You know, they're like right between what, Denmark and Germany.
German's big?
I think Germans are mixed. Well, also there's a bunch of different kinds of Germans. There's there's those, I think, the Prussian Germans, and then the
What did you say? That first part.
Aren't they like the Germans that were once part of Prussia? And what?
I thought you said the Depression Germans.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, the Depression. Sorry. Continue. The Depression Germans.
Hey,
Hello.
there he is, Mr. Skullbash Face. There he is.
Get in chat, you sexy chocolate.
Yeah, dude, you get my text message? Man, I text messaged this dude. I get nothing. It doesn't even say read. Here, look, I wrote him. I wrote him way earlier today. It says, I said, yo, you feel like dual streaming? I'm about to go on.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Going on.
Nothing.
He's got an iPhone though.
Now,
I know that much.
here's the thing. When I text him, he pings me right back. That guy.
Of course he does. He knows he's got his priorities in order. Hello, Mr.
Where is
Kitsune.
he? Get in chat, you dingus.
Yeah. Mr. Kitsune, is it true that Eric Bonham opened his stream by lying to you and telling you that his dick tastes like chocolate?
No.
Fuck.
These are his people. What are you doing to him? He brings them over here.
He brings him over here. Hey, there he is.
Dare you?
See, you give him you give him a little favor, and he just chases your people away. You know?
Yeah.
Flee, my minions.
Yeah. He calls himself Black Willy Wonka.
Ah, that's enough.
And his Oompa Loompas are just short Instagram thoughts.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Oompa doompa doompa. Except imagine they're just twerking. Big luscious
No.
movies.
never bring your
Taking
people
nowhere.
over here again. man.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
You were
he's drunk
debating it,
today.
right? You were thinking about it, and you thought to yourself, "Is this a good idea right now?" You dummy.
What do you
You were
get
not my
when you
first
guzzle
pick.
down sweets? Wait, what'd you say?
You were not my first pick. I was like,
Who was the first pick?
Yeah, who was the first pick?
the buddy. I don't know if you know him, CEO of Death.
No, that's a cool name though. What happened? He signed off?
His manga. Now I was like, you know what? Let me say hi to Mike.
Oh,
You idiot. You
know.
idiot.
I did that to myself.
yeah, he
You
wouldn't have
got
gone into
yourself
it.
here, man.
He wouldn't have called you Chocolate Willy Wonka. I'm in
All
my
the
car.
damage is done.
It's over. Bum, what were you working on today, buddy?
Character options for this particular one I was doing. It's like a combat, what do we call it? Combat. So it's like a combat necromancer medic.
That's awesome.
And I only knew 3 of the words you just said right now.
3.
No, I mean, well, no. I'll say it like this. I only listened to 3 of the words you just said. Right now.
Jesus.
I checked out somewhere in the middle. Combat technomancer. Get the fuck out of here. But you know what's encouraging?
What's
The fact
that?
that you still stream. That is
Yeah.
so cool. I admire that a lot. No
I
joke.
missed the weekend. I've been streaming on the weekends lately, and last weekend I had a ton of housework I had to catch up on, so I decided to do a mid-week like makeup stream.
Yeah.
It was only for like
Yeah.
an hour or two, you know, like a sketch section.
Still, it's plenty. Keeps you in the mix.
Trying to merge to the YouTube eventually.
You're doing
Yeah,
it.
we're
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, we were just talking about how John Moore, he missed his first week of posting on YouTube. He's been good the last 2 weeks, but this week he's a no-show.
You know, with John Moore, it was just a matter of time.
I should have sent him that link to that new game that's just got a demo out.
Uh-oh. Is it a horror game?
Your fault.
No, it's like a street baller game.
Uh,
Brawler,
Like
sorry.
a side-scroller? Like a Streets of Rage kind of?
Kind of. It's done by one person, which is pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
Does it play? Is it good? Is it fun?
It's fun. Yeah. It reminds me of those old Ninja Turtle games.
Oh man, the arcade ones.
Yep.
Did
They
you know that
re-released it, I
Ninja
think.
Turtle- Did you know that that game, depending on the champ that you or the depending on the character that you pick,
Yeah.
they have different attributes. Like one jumps further than the other, one is a little bit more strong when it comes to their strikes, that kind of a thing. Did you know that?
Did not know
That's
that.
new.
I did not know
I
that
did
at all.
Yeah.
I did not. Bonham seems to know, but he didn't tell us.
Bye, Angle.
I only knew that game recently came out.
Bonum.
Let's see you, gang.
Thor. You know, I did see Thor is not getting great reviews at the box office. Thor is
Are you flying out here so we can watch Thor together?
I didn't know you're a big Taika Waititi guy. Are you excited for What We Do in the Shadows? It's coming back this weekend, I believe.
I'm into it. Yeah, my wife is a huge fan of that show. That
God,
show,
that
not
show.
necessarily that director.
That show cracks me up, man.
It does.
Taika Waititi's
The movie,
he's
too.
a solid director. He's not my
Movie's fun.
favorite,
Mm-hmm.
but I really liked. I think we talked about this. I think we both liked. Oh boy, Jojo Rabbit,
Hitler Bunny. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
and yeah, Hitler Bunny. How dare you? Yeah, we both enjoyed Jojo Rabbit. I think Ragnarok is the best of the Thor films. Although that isn't saying much.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's not a
That's
that's
not
not a big get, you know.
Thor 1 and 2 didn't set a high bar, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the directorial point of view of it. I know a lot of people were upset at it because it was so comedic. Although, yeah, no, the critics' reviews are usually way more forgiving of Marvel films. Usually the critics are... they can't wait to give the newest Marvel film like a 85 and up. This one
Yeah.
got a 70.
Mm.
And this is kind of day one is usually I know it's not technically day one, it's tomorrow, but the critic reviews come out on the Wednesday prior, and usually they are very generous.
Favorable.
So exactly. So the fact that they're kind of letting loose, and a lot of them were very critical. To avoid spoilers, I'm not the biggest spoiler baby in the world, but I try to avoid them if possible, if I'm interested in the film. Apparently, they had a lot to say about the short givings of this movie, Ragnarok. But again,
just
they're critics.
Say short givings. Is that a thing
Short-
that you just made up? Short givings.
Oh, shortcomings, I meant to say. Apologies. I
I like
misspoke.
short givings. Stay with short givings.
Short givings.
Go with it.
Bonham, short givings. Mike should
I
stay
like
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Did you guys know Bonham once was with a white woman whose pussy was so loose when he said,
Don't change the subject. Don't change the subject. Short giving.
All right.
Nice
fine.
try there, buddy.
I almost got one in.
Yeah.
The goalie just slapped that one right out of the way.
Yeah, we put a whole stop to that one.
Oh boy, Mr. Kitsune, pause. Well, now you'll never know, Kitsune. It's too late. The moment's passed. I'm just gonna put that in the back burner for later. You know,
I didn't even know.
Eric, are you a spoilers person? Do you care?
Nah.
You don't care. Me neither, man. And it's becoming more and more rare that I run into people who don't care about spoilers.
I will say this. The reason why I'm not a fan, or I won't actively search them out, is because I like the surprise, right? I like to be surprised.
Yes.
And I feel like for Marvel films specifically, they deal in the surprise, right? For Scarlet Witch,
The mid-roll credits, so to speak.
Right.
Or are you talking about like the
Even
reveal
in
in the movie?
even in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the reveal of there being a 1990s X-Men cartoon, Professor X being in the movie, a John Krasinski Mr. Fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah, those surprises, really, for me, they elevate the movie experience. Now, again, not that it would have changed all that much if somebody had told me that those characters. That's why I don't get too. I'm not gonna fly off the handle if somebody's like, "Oh, did you see Professor X?" And it's like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that but it's no big deal. I do feel like it's a little bit more fun not knowing, or Wanda being the villain. I didn't know that Wanda was going to be the villain, so when she goes full horror movie villain, that was a fun little surprise. They're just fun little surprises. It's, for me, it's the difference between knowing one of your smaller Christmas presents and not knowing. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but if I could
what's
be
wonderful
surprised, yeah,
is the fact that you are like that level of naive. Like I think it's a commendable level of naivete. You're still a child inside.
yes,
You're like, you like
I'm a little
going to
baby.
the movie theaters. Yeah. You're like, you got the big bucket of popcorn.
Yes,
You got
yes,
the
yes, yes.
freaking. You got the Raisinets. You know what I mean? You're
Sure.
in there for the full experience. You know.
Yes, I am like
I
a
think
kid.
that's. I'm not making fun of it. I'm not making fun of it. I think it's kind of awesome the fact that you're that level of like, yay. Now, if you're dead inside like me, then it would. It doesn't matter. And I think by proxy, Bonhomme too. But still, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I do. For some reason, man, going to the theater, sitting in the theater, it brings out that
Transports you.
It brings out that the kid in me that's still enamored by film, cinema,
Right.
spectacle. Still resides. I mean, like
Yeah.
but again, when the lights are on and all is said and done, the dreary existence seeps in.
Right.
Uh,
But for an hour and a half to 2 hours, you are transported. You are,
Yes,
in
I'm
effect, a
invested.
kid again. Yeah.
For more or less, man. For
That's
more,
awesome.
more or less, yes.
No joke. That's awesome.
Thanks, buddy. But yeah, so that's generally why I try. But again, perhaps if I was a kid, I'd be more upset. But because I am a full adult, blown adult, if somebody accidentally lets slip a spoiler, that somebody dies or another character shows up, it's not the end of the world. I'm still going to be able to enjoy the film for what it is. I mean, ideally, unless the whole film was cinched on this twist, in which case, at that
Yeah.
point, it's kind of a gimmick. In which case, that's no way to, now you're in M. Night Shyamalan territory.
Are we all? Is that awesome? I don't know. Where are we on that guy?
That guy sucks. Does that guy still suck,
What
or
has
is
he
he
done
Oh.
lately?
M. Night Shyamalan due to
Does he
the
suck?
Signs
Bono?
and Unbreakable and
Not all of his
Gla-
movies are. Yeah, Unbreakable is nice. I like that movie.
Unbreakable was good, but I liked Unbreakable.
What about Old?
I
You like
liked.
Old?
I didn't see Old. I saw the trailer for that with Gael Garcia Bernal, and I thought, no, thank you. Not that I have any issue with him, the actor. He's a phenomenal actor, but just when I saw it was an M. Night Shyamalan, like, I don't care if there's a twist, and I don't really care what M. Night Shyamalan has to say about age.
Age?
Well, I'm assuming that he was, it's a
You think there's a commentary on ages or getting
Right.
old? Or?
that's what if I were to wager a guess, I would assume M. Night Shyamalan has some what he might consider profound takes on getting older and maybe a little existentialism in there. But I don't care what he has to say about that stuff, to be honest. Maybe if it was a Guillermo del Toro or Christopher Nolan or so, a director that's really proven themselves to. I mean, although Nolan's got a little, I heard Tenet was really off the rails, but
You haven't seen Tenet?
I haven't seen Tenet because I heard so many
dude.
I heard so many mixed reviews from people. It's soured
Stop
me.
watching reviews.
No, it wasn't. I didn't watch them. People, I just listened, like talking to people like you and Eric and just friends. They were so polarized. They were like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't understand the plot. Yeah, and
Sometimes you gotta have that, like, especially a movie like that. It's, I didn't
Wait, you-
hate it. I thought the concept was brilliant. It's just, it takes a while. I think it takes a few watches to really appreciate the film.
I was gonna say, by the time you kind of understand it, the movie's over. But by the time that you kind of start wrapping your mind around how anything works, right? Because
Yep.
it's a pretty high concept. As a matter of fact, I believe that it's too high concept. by the time you kind of wrap your mind, oh, I get it. I understand where all the visuals are going. Now, keep in mind, I'm a dummy, and it might be a me issue, right? But the movie's over by the time you kind of, oh, wait, what? They're rolling the credits already.
Yeah.
I see. So I think there's something to be said. Eric is probably coming from a writer's perspective, whereas if your audience isn't with you till the end, perhaps that's not where you want to be as a storyteller. From Bonham's point of
You
view,
just needed a few more. It just needed
Yeah.
a few more handles in order for it to be like, I get it, because it's like, Inception is a high concept movie, right?
yes, but that
But
works.
they did it in such a way where you're like, I can even if I don't understand the deep nuances of this at its surface level, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
When it gets into time manipulation, things get a little messy.
sure. Dude,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the reason why the creators of Rick and Morty and the writers, they have a hard line in the sand drawn. No time travel. Because
Really?
explaining, yes, so for any Rick and Morty nerds, will know that they have never touched time travel in a sci-fi show. And when they asked Dan Harmon as to what's the impetus behind that decision, it was because it is so easy for things to get immensely confusing for the audience. There's so many paradoxes dealing with time travel. Just even if it's simple single timeline time travel, a la Back to the Future, they just rather not. So there's a little homage to it in Rick's garage where he works. There's a little box called like time travel stuff that they just never touch. But yeah, no, I mean, think of Avengers. I don't know if you guys remember Avengers Endgame when Bruce Banner Hulk is trying to
I've
explain
never seen it.
trying to explain timeline. And he's like, and it's so convoluted. He's like, well, if you're in your present and you are trying to change the past, but the reason how you're trying to change the past is by moving to the past. Well, then by you moving forward in your own timeline into the past, then that means the past becomes your future. And how is your future meant to change your present? It's just, but it was so convoluted and so wacky and so weird. You just kind of have to. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to shut your brain off and say, okay, they're time traveling. That's. And then I remember notoriously in Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling introduced one of the biggest plot hole errors in her. She introduced a time machine into her universe. The time turner is the crux. It's kind of the MacGuffin of the third movie, I don't know, one of the fucking movies. But basically they repeat a couple days or a day or so, and they change events. But then you think, well, if they did that then, why wouldn't they? There's so many other things that happen in the franchise as a whole. If they had this incredibly powerful time traveling technology, why wouldn't that be the default? Like, why wouldn't that be the go-to? Because there were no consequences to their actions. They just kind of did it. Even in Back to the Future and Avengers Endgame, there is always some mountains and like hurdles to climb in order to achieve either the device or the travel itself. There's always some kind of obstacle in the way that makes it that either there are dire consequences to doing it, or to do it alone is nigh impossible. Because otherwise if it's just like, oh, here's a time travel device and have fun, you kind of it sends the logistics of the story. It creates giant plot holes. Hello, Lugia.
Well, it potentially breaks the universe, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's really, really, really tricky. And again, I haven't seen Tenet, but actually, speaking to you guys, I now want to watch Tenet because I now want to have an informed opinion on Tenet.
Let's watch it together.
How long is
You
it?
and me.
Was it like 3
We'll
hours?
stay up. No. Is it 3 hours, Bono? What do you think? 2?
It's like 2.5, I think. It's not crazy long.
Once you
But
It's
decide to
just it's
sign
one of
on.
those films where like I was entertained the whole time and just trying to figure out like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? And time just went by so quickly. Um, so it doesn't feel long or like dragging or anything. It's a no
Keep in mind,
nonsense type
Mike,
of movie.
my criticism of it
yeah.
is strictly coming from a dumb guy. You know, like Eric is a smart dude.
Am I?
I'm not referring to myself. I'm talking about Bono. Bono's a
Oh,
much smarter guy.
I thought you were
so-
talking to yourself in third person.
No, no, no. I'm saying like he probably kept up with it because he's a smart dude. Me, on the other hand, I'm dumb. But I'd be curious to see to get your perspective on.
Have you seen Predestination?
What is that?
That
Yeah.
is another time travel movie that is freaking insane.
Fucking A, dude. The speed that I go at right now is like Tremors, you know? I just watched Tremors and I was so genuinely entertained. I didn't know why you guys got to get complicated with your movies, you know?
Yeah, Bono.
I happened to just stumble upon it. I mean, I saw Ethan Hawke, and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this Ethan Hawke film.
Yeah.
And boom, holy shit, mind blown.
Do you find
Very
his
good.
daughter attractive? The one in Stranger Things, Volume 4?
I do.
Which one is she?
She's the lesbian.
She's adorable, I guess.
Yeah, she's
But not my type.
Just because she's white, isn't she?
Oh
Bono.
boy.
Here we go again. No, I'm kidding. Eric loves all vagina.
Exactly.
There it is. That makes up for that stupid statement with
Yeah.
another stupid statement.
Undone,
Well
just
played,
like that.
sir.
Hand me a time machine.
There it is. You
Uh,
just
yeah.
turned his fucking.
Yeah. No, that girl that plays the lesbian friends of blockbuster friend of Steve is actually Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter, which is really cool.
Can tell.
But I realized that there's so many legacy actors. It's almost annoying in a lot of the stuff I watch. There was a movie on the other day that my woman was watching, and Dakota Johnson was in it, daughter of Don Johnson and Don Johnson
Melanie
and
Griffith?
Melanie Griffith. Thank you. And then we have Jack Quaid, who I think is Meg Ryan and Randy Quaid's son. Jack Quaid,
Mm-hmm.
or no, Dennis
Is that
Quaid.
the guy
Dennis
from The
Quaid.
Boys?
Yeah, the boys guy. And there's apparently a bunch of these like legacies just getting gigs, and you're like, oh, Hollywood, you fucking pack of cunts.
How do you feel about the fact that
Melissa,
how do you feel about the fact that Elizabeth Olsen is those twins' younger sister?
That's
Which
wild.
I can't wrap my mind around.
That is wild. No, it's I would have assumed that she was the older one.
Yes. Until you see the twins now, and you're like, oh yeah,
Oh,
she's the younger one.
Yeah, they look like crypt keepers. Last I saw a picture.
Please, I wouldn't say that, but okay, I get what you're saying.
But I did watch a Lizzie Olsen. I did watch her on Hot Ones not too long ago. I don't know if you boys are familiar with that program.
The show, the YouTube channel, or
The YouTube program. That's right. First We Feast.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
I've watched a few. I watched Gordon Ramsay do it, and he was hilarious. He dropped, I think, over 100 F-bombs in a single show. He actually he squeezed like lemon juice on his butt through his pants because he figured he was going to be shitting his brains out later. It was really, really, I love seeing it when people have real responses to how miserably hot those wings are.
Eric, do you know what he's talking about?
yeah,
Eric,
the,
hot ones,
the hot wing chicken show.
the hot wing interview
Yeah.
show.
A hot wing
nice.
chicken show. That's it.
Yeah, it's all about hot wings and
I
chicken.
only saw the one with Shaq. That was the only time I saw it.
I want to ask you, I haven't seen that one. How did Shaq do with did he make it all the way through?
I think he was crying. Like
Yeah,
he
dude.
was
it
in
was so.
pain.
Dude,
He was
yeah.
in pain.
Yeah, no, but like that's what I mean.
That's
So like,
a dumb show.
Shaq's a normal dude. Most people can't. Dude, Elizabeth Olsen. I swear to fucking God, she had like maybe a sip of water, and like maybe a sip of milk throughout the entire thing. She has perfect elocution, right? She is a phenomenal orator. She is God, man. The way she's able to articulate.
Graceful.
She's graceful. The way she's able to articulate, it's almost as if she's reading a pre-written script. But like it's like perfect execution of like I mumble and mush mouth and fucking stumble like the Three Stooges through my dialogue, right? Like just there's almost like it's like there's a rather than a nice clear path from my brain to my mouth, it's a rocky, tumultuous fuckfest of a hill that my words have to tumble out of. But not for her. It's graceful. It's beautiful. It's she speaks in such a like a very like poetic tone. It's really remarkable, man. I feel like I could listen to Elizabeth Olsen read books. She's so well spoken. She never broke. She never fucking.
You seem
broke.
charmed.
I'm completely. I am completely charmed. And part of that is
ensorcelled.
part of that is because she's on this interview show and she is again perfect poise, perfect grace. She doesn't crack. She doesn't. I think maybe she curses like once, but like not even from like the heat. Dude, part of me thought she was a Westworld robot. Like it was like that's how
she is a
little.
Westworld robot.
That is how little the hot sauce affected her. I was shocked, man. I was like, what? Who is this woman? Really something else.
I think that was put on. I think that's fake. You think that's fake?
I don't know, man. Also, at that point, I thought, oh, I think she's a weirdo. I think she's a bit of a freak.
In what sense?
Because there was almost something like when I say Westworld robot, I mean there was almost something inhuman to her reaction to that. Like her lack of reaction, of reaction to how tremendously hot those things are. Where it's, I watched
grown people, like huge
big
people,
men, like big, strong men. Ricky Gervais couldn't finish. Like these are, Gordon Ramsay, a world-renowned chef, he barely got to the finish line. Like, I mean, just by the hairs of his chinny chin chin. I mean, like he had milk, he had citrus, he was sucking on lemons, he was screaming, dude. His face was red, he was sweating. He chugged a half a pint of Pepto-Bismol during the mid-show. Hello, Soft. I'd never seen anybody do that. It was almost disgusting. The way he chugged, we took way more. I think you were supposed to take a couple spoonfuls. He legit had like a whiskey glass full of Pepto. He got to the end, but like again, he almost didn't make it. It was almost a sense of pride. It looked like she could have gone another round without batting an eye. Really wild.
I'm telling you, that's put on. That or her Android, her Android taste buds.
But that's what I think. So
she's not programmed.
If it was put on. If she was in immense pain and just decided like I'm just gonna push through, like I'm gonna take this pain, I'm going to like fucking like the narrator in Fight Club when he's getting his chemical burn on his hand, Tyler's kiss, right? And he's like he's got to breathe through it and he's just got to like let it burn his hand. He's just got to let go. If she's doing that, like if she's that level, like my mouth is on fire, I can't feel my face. My esophagus feels like it's burning, but I'm going to speak with perfect elocution. I'm not going to break.
I mean, it's put on as in like the stuff that she was getting wasn't spicy. Not that she's putting it on.
No, I think I don't know. Neil deGrasse Tyson once went on the show and did that. He started off the show and said, "Hey, how do I know that that the spices that you have and the spices I have are the same?"
Yes.
And then
good question from a scientist.
And then he said, well, how do I know the wings that you have and the wings I have are the same as well? So the host was like, do you want to switch? And Neil was like, yes. So they switched. They switched it. They just swapped it all. And sure enough, it was hot as fuck, dude. So that's why I think that place is above board. That and based on other reactions of celebrities. I watched Margot Robbie who's a beautiful, stunning woman. I mean, just breathtakingly beautiful. I mean, but boring as shit, dude. That was one of the.
Is she boring?
She's so, dude. Even what made her interview compelling was that she was struggling with the spices at like around 3. She made it all the way through, though, so I'll give it to her. She was struggling with the spices after like 3, which is, by the way, 3 is like sriracha. Like I feel like most people can make it up to 3 or 4. Yeah. Because apparently, like, that was, she never eats spicy food, and she was having a normal human being's tough time. But even in her struggling, which is, kind of comical, where you're like, where they're freaking out because it's so hot and they can't like compose themselves. But that's the other fucking thing, Eric. Most people, even if they can take the heat, the gimmick is you're meant to answer these profound questions, right? The interviewer really does his job. He reads their biographies. He reads all kinds of articles about them. He truly tries to uphold his end of being an interviewer. So he treats it as if he's interviewing someone on 2020, even though it's a hot wing show, which is really, really why I appreciate the interviewer. But he asks really profound, compelling questions about their craft and just a lot of behind the scenes stuff and their mindset. And he asks these questions while you've eaten the hottest fucking thing you've ever. So like you're sweating, you're crying, you've got snot running out of your nose, you're chugging like milk, and then you have to also answer this question. Even with the gimmick of the show, still pretty boring watching Margot Robbie. It was actually pretty disheartening because you're like, oh fuck, is she really just a pretty face? She might just be a pretty face.
She may be, but you're saying it wasn't like that with the Scarlet Witch. With
the Scarlet Witch, I was fascinated by her lack of reaction, and like maybe, I'm like either she's just unaffected by spice, or she's nuts. She's fucking nuts. Because I couldn't imagine being like if you truly are in like immense levels of pain, but you're able to like just push it down. Just suck it up, like you don't break.
Can you imagine if later on in life, should they do an interview about that the way you're describing it now? Like, there was a point there in one of your interviews, you went on a show called Hot Ones, and it just seemed like you were able to push past all the pain. And then she reveals that, well, it's because in my life I've experienced such trauma that something like a hot wing show is not going to, make me skip a beat. I'd be like, oh shit,
ooh, fuck.
No wonder.
Yeah, no, it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. Where'd Bonham go?
Bonham, where'd you go?
Still here, listening.
Oh, he's treating this like a podcast.
They want to interrupt. You're on a roll, man.
No.
It's rare that Mikey gets this level of passionate over something, impressed by somebody's spiciness intake. We've what do you call it? We've talked about Elizabeth Olsen at length now, and I'm surprised that it didn't summon John and Moore.
Yeah, he loves that white woman.
Gosh, he's so into her.
Did you enjoy the WandaVerse movie?
What's the WandaVerse movie?
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah, no, I did not.
Yeah, same.
Enjoy is a big deal. I'm not saying I hated it, right? But enjoy is something else, and I did not enjoy it.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Did you hate it, or did you?
I had a lot of issues with it, but
with the movie or just in general?
Overall, it was not consistent. Because it started off really fun, then the fun just kind of lost its momentum. Like, it's like I'm gonna do this to the fullest, but then I'm gonna stop at the most random moment to do this and set exposition. And I don't know, I didn't feel like, I don't know, like I think the name Multiverse of Madness should have gone to everywhere and everything all at once. That's
another movie, dude. It's another movie.
That should have been called the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Well, they actually use the term, don't they?
They do, but I felt like that was.
Have you seen that movie, Mike?
Sure. I think
all right.
What's her face? Michelle Yeoh does an excellent job in that film. And she just does an excellent job on whatever she's on.
Let's stay on this thing, and then we'll talk about the other thing. Now, what are you saying, Eric? You were not impressed by it.
Yeah,
With the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I felt like with the octopus fight, that was really fun. Things were happening. Then it just kind of halted after that, and the momentum of the film was always like the stop and go. Here's some action, here's some explanation. I felt like there's some ways you can maybe merge that. Wanda felt like this unstoppable force in certain convenience. Like, I'm going on a rampage, but then I'm going to stop to explain something and then move on. There was just, I like that horror element, but they didn't go through with it.
You're saying horror, right? Horror as in
horror, yeah, horror.
Lady of the Night. Okay.
Yeah, no. And I don't know, I just feel like Doctor Strange felt a little neutered in power-wise. And it was an excellent chance to showcase some other powers from other characters that, to me, they weren't done justice. Yeah, it felt like, damn, like, what am I watching here? Like, it's just showcasing Scarlet Witch's powers, which is great, but let's have some counter power to that to balance it all out.
What say you, Mike? What's your take on it? You watched it. You were not necessarily super underwhelmed, but you were not whelmed.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but I think I do agree with Bonham. There were certain elements that left me lacking. I mean, it left me wanting more. So I see his point with the Multiverse of Madness, but we really only got to see 3 universes. And in the most substantial universe, I think it was the 838 universe, where we get John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic. It's all very... Their introduction was a little too gimmicky for me. Hello, Caspa. In that, it's like, here are these cameos. What do you say? It's the Multiverse of Madness. Look at these. Would you like these? Well, say goodbye to them, because we're killing them. And then you're like, but how? I'm like, oh, well, they're going to attack Wanda one at a time. It's like, but wait up, they're the Illuminati. They're supposed to be even more hardcore than the Avengers, right? They're supposed to, like, you're dealing with the smartest man in the universe and Professor X, and like, these are like almost Omega level super beings. Not to mention Ms. Marvel, who they fucking basically turned into Superman. And you're like, yeah, no, Scarlet Witch is gonna fucking, they're gonna give her no problem whatsoever. And you're like, oh, that seems a little stupid. You're like, that doesn't even, like, there had to be a better way to write this, right? Where she gets the drop on them, or they're unprepared, but like in a clever way, not a rather like, oh, hey, we're just gonna confront you in this open area one at a time while you kill us off one by one. I don't know, just Miss Marvel gets killed by something falling on her, like a statue falls on her. We literally watched the same powers in Captain Marvel in the main 616 universe pummel through Thanos' armada like it was tissue paper. And yet this Miss Marvel, who, again, you'd assume has the exact same powers as our Captain Marvel, again, gets crushed by let me check my notes, a big stone statue. What the fuck? Is basically what
you're getting at.
Yeah.
Her motives didn't feel like, I want kids, but
Yeah.
if you are searching, these multiverses, there's gonna be a universe where there's those kids are orphaned.
Exactly. Where Wanda, yeah, no, it does. That's the other thing.
Travel, right?
That Eric reminded me of.
Reality travel.
This is literally the multiverse. By definition, is supposed to be infinite. So you're telling me the infinite universe, there isn't one Wanda who isn't alive with her children? Not one? Fuck off. And then the other thing is, well, then why do you want to... All right, well, you could access the, if you can get what's her face, if you can control America Chavez to open up a multidimensional gate, why do you need her power? And this is what Wong asks Scarlet Witch. He says, well, why do you need America Chavez's power if you just want your kids? And she's like, well, what if they get sick? Well, then I'll need to search the multiverse for whatever. It's like, that is such a fucking flimsy fucking reason. That's a real flimsy fucking excuse.
A little weak, yeah.
And then also,
I feel like somebody in the room asked that question, and they, as long as you address it and you bring it up and you kind of answer it, then you're good to go. But I think that one was not satisfactory. Sounds like to you guys.
Yeah, a better plot would have been her getting drunk with power, like
Yes.
just her being addicted to,
sure.
you know, these multiple realities. And
I said a fix for this would have been, don't just, she's kind of bad, she's kind of good, which Marvel loves. Marvel loves to not make a villain. Like, they love to take a villain and make them not just sometimes you need a villain that is like fucking Freddy Krueger, like Michael Myers. They just have murderous intent. Then they are two-dimensional, and you know what? It's fine. Now, they touch on that briefly in the film. Wanda was like a natural disaster, where she just existed with this sole goal in mind, and however many bodies she needs to bury, so be it. But of course, they have to redeem her, yada yada yada. I say it should have been a rated R movie, and let her go fucking nuts, dude. Let her, because they didn't fully commit, in my opinion. You have things like the Illuminati. They should have beaten her. It doesn't feel believable. Her being like this kind of like, I don't want to hurt anybody, but I'm going to kill for my children that aren't my children. I need America Chavez for reasons. If she was consumed by the Darkhold, but fully, and this was a rated R film, it would make sense that in Carmertage, the warrior, like, you have this sorcerer fortress, and she just cuts through it. But they don't really explain why she's so powerful and why they're so weak. I say make them as powerful as you'd imagine a fortress full of sorcerers would be, but just make her just so much worse. Just make her make her horrible. Make her do things that even the sorcerers wouldn't see coming, which would be like, I don't know, really gruesome, grotesque, nightmarish stuff that would put you in a rated R film. But at least it would make sense. Like, oh my God, she truly is the worst. I knew she was powerful, but it never came off to me in the film that she was this universal deity that was unstoppable. She just seemed like she was a little bit more powerful than some of the Avengers that they fought. She never even seemed like. Yeah, go on, Eric.
Can I talk about that? Somebody actually addressed this, and this, I think, a flaw that's happening to Marvel right now, and I believe in it, which is somebody addressed that she actually did exhibit the fact that she is that powerful in the Wanda and Vision show, right? She manipulated an entire town. She was kind of creating her own reality. So that exists.
Wait, say the last part again. You cut out for a second.
I said you have to remind
Yeah.
that exists, that's real.
See. Right.
Right? You can't automatically assume that people have watched your damn TV show.
Right.
Because I think that's that's lazy storytelling, right? In as much as, we talked about this, I think, months and months ago in regards to the Batman, where like, oh, you bring in your understanding and knowledge of the Batman into the movie, and therefore you don't have to address it, blah, blah, blah. I disagree. I think when it's something big like that, where it's a character moment, or at the very least addressing how powerful they are, you have to remind people of that. And at no point did they go like, remember that one time I could control the town? Why do you think I can do this to you? You know what I mean? Like that could have been the more, ham-fisted, but certainly adequate enough of an answer, and they can't do that. Okay, so let me go back to the thing that you said earlier, which I think is pretty cool. Which is like Marvel loves to make these villains multi-dimensional, not in the madness kind of sense, but like in a sense of like, oh, they have background character and they have these, like it's the Thanos thing, right? Where it's like, oh, you can you don't necessarily want to side with him, but you understand why,
Yes.
And I don't always believe in that. I had a
No.
conversation with somebody that I was working with, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna build that into it so you can relate to the character and blah blah blah." And I go, sometimes you just need to have a villain,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You just need not necessarily because they're just like some force of nature, because that becomes a different kind of storytelling. But you don't need to go as deep as Thanos.
No. I mean, sometimes it's nice. Like for Thanos, I think it worked, but you don't always need that. Sometimes you just need a fucking Megatron, sometimes.
Yeah. And the thing is, people will argue that it's not the right way to go, and I can agree with them, but also in a way, it's like sometimes you just need a fucking bad guy. I don't need him to be Macbeth.
Yeah. No, you need Skeletor to show up, just cause.
Yeah. I don't need Skeletor's backstory. He's the bad guy. You got a bunch of bad guy henchmen, and he just wants to freaking get into Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bonham?
Backstory
for bad guys? Okay.
I don't think
all
all of them need it.
Yeah.
I think in certain film genre, like we had mentioned earlier, horror specifically. You kind of hand wave the like. When Freddy Krueger is murdering people in their sleep, you never go, yeah, but what's his backstory? What's his trauma? And it's like, oh, he was killing kids is his backstory. It's like, oh, what else? No, that's he was killing kids. he burned her alive. Yeah, that's it. That's all you're getting.
Almost sometimes it just makes them boring.
Yeah.
Especially when, like you said, in a horror movie, it contextualizes them way too much rather than becoming this unstoppable, undefeatable force of nature type. What do I care about freaking Mike Myers' backstory?
Yes.
Not the comedic actor, but the murdering, rampaging guy with the, William Shatner mask.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't need it, don't want it, and for this kind of storytelling, it's unnecessary. And I think because the Multiverse of Madness was leaning on horror, I think Sam Raimi was borrowing from his kind of comedic horror roots. I think he could have leaned more into. You could see that there are points of the film where Wanda does feel like that, but again, because it's Marvel. That's quickly tossed aside, and then she's crying, and then she's the victim, and then it kind of cuts the legs out of it.
Well, with Wanda, they kind of want to have their cake and eat it too, right?
Yes.
Because clearly, just behind the scenes stuff, inside baseball, so I think it's commonly known that, Elizabeth Olsen signed a contract for like $1 gazillion to do more of these kinds of movies.
Right.
So they want to have her be redeemable just in case, because they don't have it that. But you know this, right? They did interviews about like they don't have all this stuff planned out. They allow for their directors and the writers and the creatives to kind of guide. They have a sort of a general trajectory, a point in the horizon where they want to arrive. I think it's Secret War, right? With this,
yes, Secret War seems where they're going.
Right, and so, but they don't necessarily. They're not dictatorial, right? They're not prescriptive about like this must happen, this must happen, this must happen, right? Which is a miracle to me, and it just goes to show how good the Russo brothers are to understand how to tie all this crazy shit together.
Really remarkable what they're able to accomplish.
Yep. And those are skilled and crafted storytellers, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that again. Or a Secret Wars kind of a thing. It almost, because they did it once, it might accidentally give them a false sense of confidence that they can continue to do that. But I feel like in their most recent offerings, they don't have, I think it's a combination of things. They don't have as many skilled people at the helm. And secondly, people are kind of used to the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, right? So a little bit of that polish, a little bit of that wow factor is out the window.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think in order for them to pull off Secret War, the problem is they don't have what they had prior to Endgame. And I don't know if Marvel is competent in its current state to get to where they were. So again, you know, in the beginning you had Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, and they were building up to the Avengers and so on and so forth. Phase 4 has been really just aimless, rudderless, just floating in honestly mediocrity. Don't get me wrong, I love these films all day, but I am very aware of how lackluster these films have been received by the populace at large. Shang-Chi was good, but not great. Eternals was, I think, just bad, just uninteresting, and it also didn't feel like it existed in the Marvel universe, which is, I think, not what you want to tackle when you're introducing like fucking 12 new characters or however many ridiculous characters they introduced. How are you meant to introduce
gods? Yeah.
You introduce a whole fucking basketball team worth of new characters, and there's really nothing. There's nothing to them. There's too few moments in the film to bond with any of them, and they also don't feel like they exist in the Marvel universe whatsoever. So again, that's a wash. Black Widow, a decent story told too late. You know, it's, too little, too late. So that's a wash. Now after that, so again, off to like, and this is the Phase 4 offering. Disney Plus, you have WandaVision. Again, good, not great. There's some things that they do that are really unique, but then towards the end they completely drop the ball. Moon Knight.
Let me excuse myself real quick. You guys have a great evening.
Later, buddy. Thanks for hanging out.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Ian. Bye.
Later. Moon Knight, same thing. Although I say Moon Knight is one of my preferred Disney Plus stories. I really like the character. There was some stuff that was missed, but I think it was more hit than miss. And I would say Moon Knight was enjoyable, and I think a lot of that falls on the cinematography and Oscar Isaac himself. Oscar Isaac is a phenomenal actor, worth every penny they paid. He truly brings the character of Mark Spector home, worth a watch. Ms. Marvel is meh. Falcon and Winter Soldier is meh. Loki is good. Loki's a solid show. Loki, I think, is a really compelling high fantasy, a little bit of that. It's a high sci-fi thriller, action adventure, which is my cup of tea. So again, I'm super biased, but I think Loki really opened the door up to the multiverse. Kevin Feige has said so himself. The events that transpire in Loki kick the door open for Spider-Man No Way Home, which was Marvel's first real hit, but again, that's a shared success with Sony again, who should thank their lucky stars every fucking day that they still get to hang out with Marvel, because for whatever reason those two actually managed together to make decent movies, where by themselves we get Morbius and what's going to be Kraven the Hunter, who's an animal lover, which doesn't make any fucking sense, but okay. And we also get Venom too. Yeah, no, dude, Sony is shit, dude. Again, people saw No Way Home. People saw No Way Home, and they underplay Marvel's. They underplay what Marvel does. And then I have to keep reminding people, Sony churns out Venom and Venom 2 and Morbius, and for every one of those shitty movies, you get one Into the Spider-Verse, and then, but again, completely different. Anyway, we got Multiverse of Madness, which again, Multiverse of Madness, much like WandaVision, much like some of the other Disney Plus shows, it's really hit and miss. There's some stuff that they do in the Multiverse of Madness that I really like, but I cannot ignore the plot holes. I cannot ignore the movie's shortcomings, because they are there. And as much as I loved seeing those cameos, as much as the kid in me fucking wanted to cheer when I heard the X-Men 92 cartoon music playing and seeing Professor X, Charles Xavier, portrayed by Sir Patrick Stewart, in the yellow hover chair. My God, that was something I'd waited fucking 30 years to see. Just really, fuck yes, excellent. But my God, man, that movie was flawed, quite flawed. And now we're looking at Ragnarok, and Ragnarok has reviews coming in, and from the critics' point of view, and again, take that with a grain of salt. I don't really trust most critics. They give it a 70. That does not bode well for the movie. Let me catch up with the chat. Yoji's been typing up a storm. Scooby says, "This still Shepard? No, I changed it. Shang-Chi lost it at the end. I know Shang-Chi fell victim to, unfortunately, Shang-Chi fell victim to the Marvel formula." And one of the reviews from Thor: Love and Thunder said the same thing. The third act fucks it all up. And even in WandaVision itself, the third act of the TV show, which is something, these Disney Plus shows act more like 6-hour long movies. I would say the third act of WandaVision, it also dropped the ball. And I don't know what Marvel is falling victim to its own formula, the formula that it made, the formula that DC tried to copy, the formula. But again, it's the same formula that caused Wonder Woman, the original Wonder Woman, whatever the hell her first movie was called. It caused it to really fall apart at the end. I said this before. I said this a dozen times on here. I love the first 2/3 of Wonder Woman. It's that last act where she's fighting a giant CGI villain in the sky, where you just kind of the whole movie was grounded, and it was this kind of this fish out of water take on what it means to be human and what it is to to be at war and the suffering. And it was this very down to earth war film, and then at the very end you get CGI nonsense out of nowhere, complete left turn. And it undoes a lot of the great things that happened in that movie. Same thing with, unfortunately, Marvel stuff. Shang-Chi at the end, you have this really kind of touching story about this dynamic between a father and his two children, or most specifically a father and his son. And there's a beauty to the storytelling. There's real emotional turmoil portrayed on screen under the guise of a kind of a martial arts action film. And then at the very end, you get like two fucking dragons fighting in a fantasy world. And it's kind of just nonsensical. And you kind of don't really care about it towards the end. I don't know about you, Yoji, but towards the end, when the Mandarin is, died, and Shang-Chi takes over his rings and is fighting on top of a dragon, I kind of checked out. I kind of, like, the stakes were gone. I knew the world was going to come to the end. It just kind of lost. I feel like all the sails fell out. Like this. The wind was.
I'll see you later.
Later, Skull Bash. The wind was taken out of the sails of the movie the second that the Mandarin died. I feel like once that happened, the whole crux of what the movie was around, the relationship between Shang-Chi and the Mandarin, it was gone. It was like somebody deflated the movie, because after that, now we've got your average Marvel run-of-the-mill superhero kind of nonsense that you don't really care. You care about it sometimes, but it has to be done really well, and this was unfortunately not one of those times. All right, let me go back to your. Also, if the Mandarin was so smart and powerful and he just lost his mind and couldn't see past things that didn't make any sense, it was too Deus Ex Machina. Black Widow, once again, starts off strong, falls apart. Moon Knight has extra issues since there's no guaranteed second season of further appearances. Isaac is only signed on for one season. Multiverse is interesting, but it's easy for them to fuck it up like in the comic books. Sony's trying to build a universe around all the Spider-Man characters. Venom 2 is shit. I'm tired of Spider-Man, and I love Spider-Man. Expect more Spider-Man, because Sony only gets to keep him as long as they make movies using him. Yes, I think they have to make a movie, every 5 years, I think? Yeah, I believe the contract, when Marvel signed over the rights to Spider-Man to Sony, when they gone bankrupt, I think in the late 90s, mid 90s, when they signed over the rights to Sony, it was under the agreement that they have to make Spider-Man movies. Well, I believe it's once every 5 years. Otherwise, they will lose They will lose their claim to that character, and it will revert back to Marvel. The big surprise was Black Bolt in the comic actor costume. That yellow chair needs more love. Yellow chair is a Jim Lee thing. Awesome. I assume the third act is Lady Thor dealing with cancer. It has to be, right? But no, I wouldn't. Banzi, I'm going to say I don't think it's that. Because Lady Thor, Jane Foster dealing with her terminal cancer. That's touching, that's grounded, that's heartbreaking. I think that being the crux of the film, I think that would be special. I think that would be compelling. That would be plot and character arc driven by something substantial, a substantial obstacle that our heroes have to deal with. One that many of us, the viewers, also, you know, this isn't, I mean, them dealing with Jane Foster's cancer in a real way is something that could be heartbreaking and touching, because how many of us have had people in our lives deal with cancer, or how many of us have, honestly, this is pretty sad, but have lost people to that horrible illness. And it's not Thanos, and it's not the Chitauri, and it's not magic, and it's not any other world anything. No, it's, you know, this is, you take it in, you know. It's not about losing the world, it's about losing the person you love to something that is to an incurable disease, and that's very human. And I think that would be, if they did that, would be fucking remarkable, because no longer long gone are the days where, you know, you look up into the sky and say, oh my god, the world is going to shatter. Because those days are done, dude. We know the world isn't going to shatter. We know that the world isn't going to fall apart unless we're watching an Avengers movie, unless we're watching Secret Wars or Endgame. We know that the stakes for world-ending destruction is non-existent. There are no real stakes. So I think Marvel would be in better shape if it focused more on interpersonal relationships and things like that, man. Bring it. If you can't go bombastic and crazy, I say take it in. I say pull it, you know, instead of pulling it out and seeing this crazy universal shit, I say no, man. It's stuff like that. It's like Jane Foster dealing with that kind of stuff. I think that, like, write a movie about that. That means more. I mean, we're talking about multiversal movies, and we were comparing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness to Michelle Yeoh's Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the most compelling, Yoji, I think, saw that movie. What makes that multiverse movie more compelling, it isn't that, oh my god, the multiverse is collapsing. No, it's about her relationship to her daughter, who's suffering, and she's suffering with anxiety, depression, loneliness, insecurities. These are, you know, it's the multiversal element is just, you know, it's the action and fun part that masks the true interpersonal dynamic between Michelle Yeoh and her daughter, and her own father. Like, that's what makes that movie substantial, because that's stuff that we can all relate to. It doesn't have to be over the top and crazy and whatever. Anyway, I think Marvel could learn a lesson or two from Everything Everywhere All at Once and other movies like that. Whereas you can only get so big, you know, you can only have so many Secret Wars and so many end games. You need to work on that. You need to work on the real stuff. I think that would be the smarter way for them to go. Yeah, so Banzi, I don't think the third act is going to be dealing with Lady Thor's cancer, because I think that would be the smart move. I think that would be the more compelling move. I think the third act is going to be more nonsense. I think the third act is going to be Jane Foster and Thor beating up a fucking planet or some shit like that, and then it's going to end. You know, they're going to smirk at the camera, and Thor's going to fart, and then the fucking laugh track is going to play, and then the movie's going to be over. You know. WandaVision's third act wasn't as bad as the rest of the crap we already talked about. Then there was a sequel, Curse. Wonder Woman 2 was a shit from start to end. She became Lady Thor because of the cancer. It's only a temporary reprieve. The original Captain Marvel, Kree, died from cancer, and he's the only one never resurrected. That's right, they never resurrect. How dare you call... You mean Captain Marvel, Yoji? Howard Stern is claiming he's in talks to be Doctor Doom. He was claiming that he is going to be working on the Doctor Doom project this summer. Because, for those of you who don't know, Howard Stern is still on Sirius XM, and he was on a commercial break. And this is, people don't know because Stern's a notorious fucking troll. He's been a troll for 40 years. So take this with a grain of salt. He was on a commercial break, and the commercial was playing in the background, much like my background music. And in the background, you hear Robin go, "So what are you doing this summer?" And you hear him, and then you barely hear him under the music. He's like, "I told you I was working on the Doctor Doom thing." He's like, "I gotta call John." He's like, "I talked to Robert Downey Jr. about tips," and like he's cutting in and out, so you really, it's inaudible. It's inaudible what you can hear from what he's saying. But he said he's working on a Doctor Doom project. He's got to talk to a John, and he talked to Robert Downey Jr. Now again, first, might all be complete bullshit. He might be fucking with everyone. Second, there is no talks of there being a Doctor Doom film, so people are assuming that Stern is an idiot who doesn't know about this kind of shit, and what he really means is a Fantastic Four project, and the John he's talking about is John Watts. John Watts is the Spider-Man trilogy director. No Way Home, Far From Home, Homecoming. John Watts did all those films. He was pegged to do Fantastic Four. He is no longer on the project. He was pegged as the director for the Fantastic Four film. He's removed. He's since been removed from that. They're finding a different director for that. Some people are assuming that it's going to be John Krasinski starring and directing the film. Nobody knows. It's up in the air. Hasn't been confirmed. It's all rumors. But John Watts is officially off the project. So that's what people were thinking, that Stern was going to play a cameo as himself in the Doctor Doom, not the Doctor Doom film, the Fantastic Four film where they featured Doctor Doom. Alternatively, there are other theories that there's going to be, perhaps they were working on a Doctor Doom animated series for Disney Plus. It's all up in the air. It's all uncertain. Nobody knows what's going on. Like I said, it could be complete bullshit. It could be a complete lie. I need some water. I'm gonna be right back. Hello, it's me, Mikey D. I don't know how I feel about this fucking... You know what? The tits are all wrong. The tits are all wrong. You know what? Redrawing them from scratch. Take it from the top, boys. All right, what did I miss in the chat? Hello, hello. What did I miss? Who's still hanging out? Is anybody still in here? Did you all leave the second I went to go get something to drink? Marvel doesn't want to... She must die. She won't really die. They made an out for her in the comic book. Hey, Yoji, if you're still here, how does Lady Thor survive her cancer? It'll be a lighthearted, fun movie with gags and jokes until surprise she dies of cancer. She must die, otherwise they can't move people. Marvel doesn't want to take chances anymore. They want everyone to stick to the formula, even if it's at least a turds like Captain Marvel and Thor. She becomes a Valkyrie. Oh, you know what, dude? I'm gonna be honest. That Yoji, that's a fucking cop out, man. I think if they had any fucking balls, and they don't, which sucks. But if they did, the smart move would be to absolutely let her die. You know, let there be consequences, man. But no, listen, we all know it's comic books. Nobody ever stays dead in comic books unless it's Uncle Ben. No one ever... Yeah, I know. But even then, right? But even then... So nobody ever dies in comic books. Alright, but like, you know, they find clever, cutesy ways to bring them back, right? With Jason Todd, it was a Lazarus Pit. With Bucky, it was the Winter Soldier. But at least those stories are compelling, dude. So Jason Todd dies, and then he reappears 20 years later as the Red Hood. But dude, the Red Hood storyline is one of my favorite Batman storylines of all time. Under the Red Hood is actually one of my favorite animated DC films. God, that's a great one. Under the Red Hood. Batman finding out that Jason Todd didn't die. That one of Batman's greatest failures. But that Jason was left horribly scarred from death from the Lazarus Pit, and now he aims to be the Batman that he wishes Batman had been. And he challenges Batman's resolve, in that he points the finger at Bruce, and basically says what many of us have said in the past, that by Batman not killing his Rose Gallery, sure, he can take the high road, but basically it implies that every kill that they make after he lets them go, after they escape Arkham, which he know they will, that's on him. Every death from the Joker or whomever else has escaped after Batman's caught them yet again, the Red Hood says this is, you know, the deaths of the innocent people that they murder are on you for not doing what needs to be done. And listen, we all know it's comic books and he has to let them live, but it's a really compelling story. The Winter Soldier story arc with Bucky becoming this killer, this brainwashed killer who's been, you know, that's compelling, man. That's a fucking compelling story arc too, that they used and didn't pay the original Marvel writer for because they're dickheads. Yes, I know it was work for hire, but still, go fuck yourself, man. This fucking movie made $1 billion. You can't cut him a check. Anyway, at least they came up with fun, interesting ways to bring these characters back. So do that with Jane Foster. Kill her off, make it hurt, make it suck, bring her back. Marvel won't pay for the derivative characters. Under the Red Hood, Flashpoint was peak DC animated. Dude, the Flashpoint, the end of Flashpoint, where Batman turns to Barry Allen, Batman turns to Barry with a tear in his eye and says, "You're one hell of a messenger." That made me tear up. Spoiler alert for Flashpoint. The Flash changing history makes it so that Thomas Wayne is in fact alive instead of Bruce. And Thomas Wayne is actually able to write a letter to Bruce, his son. And it's a tearjerker. Because if you're familiar with Batman, you know how much that means to him, how much his parents mean to him. So it's really a beautiful, beautiful moment. Yeah, peak animation, peak storytelling. You know, like they brought Thomas Wayne back, which you'd assume was a faux pas, but they did it in such a clever way. It pays off. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels earned. It's a good story. Same thing with Bucky. Same thing with Jason Todd. It doesn't feel cheap. It's compelling and earned. But that's not, dude, compelling and earned is not what I'd say current Marvel is at. Not at all. Not one bit. Also, Marvel only pays royalties for 10 years. Jesus. DC also won't pay for derivative characters depending on who's in charge of the company. Because his real son is, in reality, is dead. Right. They cheapened it by making Thomas Wayne Batman a recurring character. Yeah, I know. They really did. They should have left him alone in Flashpoint, but you know, man, they need gimmicks and whatever else. But no, they should have left Thomas Wayne alone in that alternate universe rather than have him just hanging out in the DCU. Yeah, he just hangs out because again, it cheapens it. Yo, did you ever read Doomsday Clock? I really like that one. That would actually be a really cool live action, I think. Never read it. I like the art. The art's good. Stories. It's a little cheesy, but I like it. And I know if you're a hardcore Watchmen fan, you'd probably outright, just off the cuff, hate it because of what DC did to Alan Moore's characters and properties. So if you don't like it for that reason, wouldn't hold it against you. Doomsday Clock seems better than Before Watchmen. Ugh, dude, I read Before Watchmen expecting it to be like really compelling because I do love the Watchmen characters. God, it was awful. It was terrible. Hey Yoji, do you have any idea of what's happening in comic books currently? I mentioned this earlier. I'm out of the loop, dude. I am truly out of the loop when it comes to modern comic books. For example, Yoji, years ago they were doing Civil War 2, then Secret War 2. Battle World. They were doing the Incursions, Hickman's various runs. It's the same shit. Yeah, like I honestly, I'm way out of the loop, dude. Like in regards to like you know the big summer blockbuster must see comic book event, must read rather. I haven't the fucking foggiest idea, man. Sales seem to have been better recently. I think sales have gone up compared to the last couple of years, but again, Yoji, the last couple of years, Jesus, dude, the bar was set into the bar was set at the gutter, just absolute basement. But at least it hasn't gotten worse. So I guess if that's your, that's about as good as you're gonna get as far as the industry. Hey yo, has Bernie ever thought about doing a solo outing, creator owned? I think he could crush it, dude. I mean, his work is solid, dude. His work stands on its own legs. I think with just a little bit of marketing, with a little elbow grease, some clever marketing, I think he could do it. You know, having like a solid like fucking 1,000-person email list, get some word of mouth on social media. He talked about it, but he doesn't have the time. Yeah, no. He'd have to make the time. He'd have to cut out something, man. Sleep, social life, conventions. You could make the time, but you'd have to carve it out of aspects of your life that would be uncomfortable. He was working on the animated series that he wanted for HBO, but the WB merger, it might be dead. Oh, fuck, dude, shit. The Warner Discovery merger, right? Because AT&T absorbed Warner, and then they sliced it off because AT&T realized that they don't want to fucking have to deal with this bullshit. Hollywood studios and whatever the fuck else. They're not in that business. That and they owe untold billions of dollars in debt, so they decided to sell off Warner, and they sold it to Discover. So I think it's now Warner Discovery rather. He needs to do something that pays off without him doing more work. Yeah, fuck, dude. Yeah. Yes, he does. What's up, Two Oak? Two Oak, how are you, man? What's the word, baby? What's the word on the street, Two Oak? HBO thing could have been that. Just popular enough for 100 episodes. Fuck, man. That actually makes me really fucking sad, dude. Bernie's been working so hard for so many fucking years. If anybody deserves a little fucking chill time, you know? Yeah, I got him. You know, really want to make sure the tits are right. Nah, that's too titties. I want them big but natural looking. These don't look natural. These look like fucking balloons. It's also not just the art, because you could do the art. It's got to be the story / concept. You know, it's the writing. It's all of it, man. The writing, the story, the concept. I mean, if he's going full solo, he's got to do the coloring too. It's a fucking nightmare, Yoji. Hey!
Nikki-chan!
Hey! It's Nicole. I don't have a UTI Gonzalez.
Ew. Nope. All clear here.
See, that's why I said so. That's your. I knew you'd say that.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? What's good, baby?
Why are you streaming on a Wednesday? Because of Monday?
Cause yeah, it was
Shut up. We haven't even gotten there, Jimbo.
it was Thanksgiving or whatever the fuck on Monday.
Incorrect. What's up, baby?
Oh, I'm just doodling some big tittied super heroine looking lady.
That sounds about right.
You know, I haven't done one of these in a while. Haven't done one of these bodacious ladies.
Audacious babes.
Yeah. I'm surprised Matt isn't around.
He is out with the wife. I believe they are seeing a Beatles cover band tonight.
Ooh, him and Rudy at it again.
Yup.
I call her Rudy, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But it's like, that's her name, dude. Her name is literally Ska Rock Rudy.
Rudes, the Rudes.
But what does that mean? What is a Ska Rock Rudy? I know what Ska Rock is, you know.
Oh, okay.
The
I
guys
don't
with
know
the-
what Rudy is, so...
I knew a bunch of ska punk kids in high school. They got beat up a lot. I'm not even
My ex
joking.
used to like ska, so... boo. But... It's Jen, so...
Does she play the saxophone since she's ska rock? Does she do that
I don't
ska?
know.
Does she do that ska punk shimmy that they dance like? You know, when they do that like shuffle? They do that ska rock
I don't
shuffle.
know. Maybe she knows it.
Nikki, don't come around. Two Oak says you don't come around enough anymore, Nikki. He misses you.
Why don't you come when I'm live then?
Yeah, exactly, Two Oak, you animal.
It's been tough though. I haven't been live in a bit either. But when I was, you stopped coming around too.
Ooh. How come you know?
But Mikey likes to change his schedule, and sometimes I'm like, ooh, I gotta go to bed.
My schedule's fucking erratic. It's fucking all over the place. I need to lock
Yeah.
one down. I don't know why I'm so wishy-washy, man.
I mean, it benefits for those in like the States and like UK and stuff. So like I get it because you have a following in both areas. Me, I have to be up at 5 o'clock every day, so
Yeah.
I stream to me at a decent time too. You know, so I'm done by 8. I wind down and I'm in bed by like 10, or else I try to be.
Tiddlywoke says,
Tiddlywoke.
she swing too early.
Tiddlywoke.
Tiddlywoke. I posted a picture of a nip slip from one of the lady creators that he hangs out at her stream.
Oh boy.
Yeah, her titty she's got like thick, like they look like they're like the size of my thumbnail, like dark purple nipples, man. I was really shocked about that. Anybody else? Yoji, were you shocked when you saw those nipples in the memes and adult themes channel?
I was playing Phasmophobia with this cutie pie just right now. While she
The
was
girl-
streaming.
Does Liz's nipples are they thick and dark purple too?
I'll let you know in August. No, I'm just kidding.
Get ready for the topless camping.
Oh god, no. Can you imagine all those skeeters out there?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty wild. Those mosquitoes are gonna die with all that milk that they're sucking out of them titties. Whose boobs am I supposed to be looking at? Here, Yoji. Here, I got a tag. Oh, you're on a. You look sleepy, Nikki.
I am very sleepy. Oh, Matt, we were just
Hey, we're just talking
about
about you. We're talking about you and Rudy.
Yeah,
Nikki
how was
said-
the cover band?
Yeah, Nikki said you guys went out.
We didn't go tonight because she wasn't feeling that great.
Ah,
Yeah,
poop.
asked from Michael.
So it was like sitting in the heat all night. So we just kind of hung out at home.
Oh.
Listen, that's sweet too.
Yeah, I'm doing a stream myself here in a bit. Just chilling till then. How are you guys doing?
What time you streaming till?
Tired.
I don't know. To be honest with you, we're just gonna do a late night Call of Duty one. Said fuck it.
Oh my god, dude. Did you see somebody posted this Hot Wheels meme? Caspa Hang on. I'll show you guys. Here.
I'm looking at the prepare your anus in the general. Prepared, sir.
Oh!
I need to ask you hashtag super straight dudes, if you saw me and didn't know I was non-binary, what would you tell your confused boner? My. Aren't we confident?
Right.
Looks like-
Yoji, more like mild wheels.
How dare, damn, Yoji, fucking come on.
Wow.
Jesus, dude, Yoji, they're handicapped enough, man.
Oof.
What the fuck was I Googling?
Just
right
because
now?
they can't feel their bottom half doesn't mean they can't feel a broken heart. Be nice.
Oh, yeah, let me see. Let me post. Here, I'm gonna tag Yoji.
What's tomorrow? Thursday? Do I have any meetings tomorrow? I do.
At Yoji.
Maddie, when are you starting?
Waiting on Fabian. He let me know when he's ready. He was like a half hour ago. He let me know he was gonna shower and everything. He got off of work.
Yeah. So, Yoji, I'm curious about that. This is actually something I'm really interested in. For those of you who don't know, Namor the Submariner is going to be making an appearance in the Wakanda Forever Black Panther 2 movie. Namor is of the lost city of Atlantis. He's a fish person. He's one of the first mutants ever introduced to Marvel Comics, and he is notoriously Mediterranean looking. I mean, obviously half fish person, half Mediterranean.
Like Greek?
He basically looks like a Greek, like a Macedonian type. You know, like that's where Atlantis would have been around. People speculate, right?
Oh, so just like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, right. So, but much like Jason Momoa not being, I don't know what the fuck that dude is. I think he's a Pacific Islander. The Namor that they're creating for the MCU isn't a Mediterranean dude. They're going with an ancient Aztec, ancient Mayan type dude. So he's gonna look more native Central American, is I think what they're going for. So they actually released a photo of him. I'll pull it up for you guys so you guys can see. So you guys can see. Open the fucking link, god damn it. Discord's
Mikey, I miss you.
I miss you too, buddy. Discord's like, do you want to open up this link? I'm like, yes, this link I clicked multiple times. Yeah, so here we go. Here's what Namor has looked like in the comic books, and here's what he looks like. He does have, I will say this, if Namor is supposed to be based on Aztec and Mayan civilizations, I think he looks more like honestly, he looks more like he's a Spaniard than he looks like he's native. I will say, I think the like, how would you describe that? Like, how would you just, he looks like a conquistador more than anything. So, all right. So I guess my question is, this is going to be a little inside baseball, but as we know, the Incans, the Mayans, the indigenous peoples of Central and South America have a more specific look to them. They look more like Nikki, if anything. Nikki, Namor should look like you. Just like you, Nikki.
They should have consulted Mel Gibson.
You need to get those eyebrows though, like, holy.
But
Why does he look like? Why does he
There you
look like
go.
modern? Like
he looks like Shia
Nah.
LaBeouf.
he looks like
Oh, he
non-third
does
world
with the
Borat.
mustache.
Yeah, no. So again, he looks like he's Latino. He's Latinx. He doesn't look like a native person to me at all. Matter of fact.
Here's my question, I guess, in all of this whole thing, right? Like,
Hmm.
as much as I am one of those people, like, I don't necessarily care if you change, like, the race or whatever of a character. Not really much. But like in a world of fantasy where there's like blue alien women and all sorts of trippy shit in this universe, like why the fuck does it even matter?
Oh,
Like
no.
why does the race of any of the actor, whether you're arguing it for you want the character to remain white or you're arguing you want the character to be person of color when it's traditionally white, like
No, it definitely
at this
doesn't.
point, when does the universe move past it where people are like, can we just all just every character be some weird fucking alien so I can stop hearing about it?
50. No, that's still too
20
soon.
feet. No, they'll still be. Well, the blue aliens are now under attack by people on Twitter. They don't like the blue aliens.
No. Listen, I don't care that they changed the ethnicity. I'm not one of those people because, again, how different... Like, is the difference between these two really that much? I really like what they've done with the design of the character. Just like the look of him, that kind of Aztec, Mayan, like...
I mean, you can see
ancient-
the Mayan on his armor.
Yes,
is where
very.
you're seeing the
I
Aztec
like
sort of
that
shit.
more than just the bikini briefs. You know, the sea kini
Yeah.
that he's wearing. I prefer that he's got a more stylistic, because at least, again, you'd imagine that Atlantis is its own culture, has its own people. Now, here's my question about all this, and I don't care about his race exactly.
As long as you got good
Aside from them, so they're doing a Black Panther thing, right? So he is going to essentially be a Black Panther type character. So Wakanda's people are kind of looked over by the god Bast. So Bast, much like Moon Knight is the avatar of Khonshu, the moon god, the Egyptian moon god, Bast sort of lends their power to Black Panther. And that's how Black Panther is kind of like gifted his abilities, more or less.
I think the worst part about the Black Panther movies is they haven't cast Sharlto Copley in a role.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
You do know? Have you ever seen District 9?
Oh, yeah, but I don't. There
He's
were
the-
black
he's the
people in
main
that.
guy.
I thought the black people were. Just...
No, he's actually a white South African.
Oh, is he the main dude?
Yeah, he was the main dude.
Yes.
He was in the Old Boy remake.
he was in Elysium.
Hardcore Henry. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah,
He's
no, that-
amazing. He's an amazing actor, and he's goddamn it, phone. I'm gonna throw you against the wall.
Yeah.
He's an amazing actor and legitimately like a South African dude. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand. Make him a villain. I don't care. He's such a good actor, dude. I don't know why they haven't cast him yet in a role in any of the Marvel products.
He'll get there. Hollywood eventually casts everybody. You know, they just got to work their way down to him.
Well, I think he like his heat was
20
either just
10
around the
years ago.
same. Well, longer. I think it was around the same time Iron Man was even just kicking off.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I think he missed kind of his prime. Like, yeah, maybe his prime was a decade ago,
Yeah.
and they didn't think of it at that point. I mean, he's still in incredible shape and still a great actor. So like, he's one of those dudes I'd wish they'd get in the universe.
Yeah. No, I'm with
Make
you.
a sequel. They are making a sequel to District 9. I don't know how he'd be able to be in it though.
District
Ooh.
9.5.
Yeah, District 9 3/4.
So back to this. Final thoughts on this. I don't give a shit that they changed his ethnicity. They are making it a Wakanda thing. Is in the lost city of Atlantis is in somewhere towards Central America, so hence these indigenous roots. But my thing is like, hold on. If this is a lost ancient city, I'm assuming this city was lost thousands of years ago, kind of like, Wakanda was lost.
Well, you would
You know.
figure the city would predate all of that too.
Right. So if Atlantis is off Central America and these indigenous peoples were kind of sequestered away underwater, Wakanda style, hidden from the rest of the continent, the rest of the surrounding nations, cool, fine. But wouldn't that mean that they weren't colonized by the Spaniards? Right? Because Wakanda's supposed to be this highly technologically advanced nation that, guess what? They weren't snatched up when the white slavers came to town because they're fucking Wakanda. They were hidden. They were technologically advanced. And matter of fact, that's kind of the point of Black Panther. The character played by Michael B. Jordan, whose name escapes me, Killmonger. Killmonger's point is that, hey, Africa fucking suffers while you dickheads in Wakanda sit from on high, judging, sequestered, hoarding resources. You're no better than Whitey, more or less, right?
Yeah, but isn't it like the idea of Atlantis itself a Greek, a Mediterranean idea. Like, I don't remember anything about Atlantis, myth, fact, whatever, having anything to do with Central America.
Yeah, but
like,
it's fucking make believe. You know, it's not a real
well, yeah,
place. with
I
real
get
people.
that, but you are essentially completely changing the character's origins if you are going with a more Azteca, because once
But
again, the underground
Atlantis
city of Atlantis has always been mermaids and
but again,
Greek architecture
it's
and Zeus
mermaids,
and the
but like,
gods.
but
A whole bunch
again,
of weird shit.
nobody's really. It's made up. It's fantasy. It's like, you know, it's
Yeah,
like, you know,
I mean, yeah.
it's like you're like Neverland is all white people, right? And it's like, well, it's just it's make believe. You know, it's just.
I don't
fantasy.
disagree with you in that, but with the idea of like, I think it does validate every like people do have an argument if it goes from a Greek Atlantis lore to an Azteca lore to fit in. Like, the question is, what's the point? Why are we, essentially changing the character's entire ethnic national background, even if it is fake?
But it's not. But
you
again,
know?
the premise is that there is some ethnic background and there isn't. It's Atlantis. Like I said, it's Neverland.
Yep.
So you're saying
But
Neverland,
Atlantis is
the nation
I've
of
never seen
Neverland.
Atlantis.
You know?
Atlantis is, I've never seen it ever be referenced in anything but Greek and mythology. I've never seen.
I only know
Atlantis of the
Atlantis
East.
from. I only know Atlantis from that 2D movie that came out in the 90s.
Well, you got to remember,
And that
Atlantis
woman was-
is strung
that woman was
through like a
black,
lot
no?
of different shit. No, well, I don't know about that one, but the traditional Atlantis is Greek mythology. It's Zeus, it's the gods, it's all encompassed in that.
What was the name? Was that movie? Yeah, it was Atlantis: The Lost Empire, right? And wasn't that lady?
I don't remember.
She was.
I think it's that one.
She was. Was she white? Because she looks tan as shit. Hang on, let's see.
Okay, so Atlantis predates the Greeks. I don't know. While I don't honestly give a shit,
Here we go.
it is.
I guess she's
it
an
is, you are
off-white.
changing. You are.
But I think because
that's as close as Disney would do with to get close to Islander. They still
Yeah.
have to have the giant white eyes.
So I think it's just made up, like, you know, like being like, hey, she's supposed to be Greek. Mediterraneans look like they're brown hair, brown eyes, and whatever the fuck. You know, like they don't have white hair. I don't
but
know,
you
it's
could.
just-
That's an argument you could make though, where you could go, well, Disney didn't think a traditional Islander type looking person would sell, so they whited up this one with white hair, and you can make that argument because of that though. There might be some merit in it. I mean, here's the thing: it's all a business. Right now, POC shit, specialty cultural shit, it does sell. People are looking for them. Every group wants to be represented. So, like, it's a marketplace, man. People get so personally invested in it. It's a marketplace. It's no different than a store that sells something, and if it doesn't sell, they don't do it again. They don't sell it again. Korea also has a Cinderella story. The North Korean one must be really short and boring.
North Korea or South Korea has a Cinderella story.
North Korean Cinderella, as she dropped her slipper, or she drops her slipper, and then they shoot her to death on the stairs.
All right, so Atlantis was created by the ancient Greeks. Two Oak says it's a Greek myth, and I say, okay, but
The Great Flood.
I mean, the map of Atlantis puts it right near Africa, apparently.
Well, a lot of that shit's not as far as you think.
Well, yeah, dude. Well, dude, if you're talking the Mediterranean, it literally might be right off the coast of Africa.
I mean, I've been to Atlantis, so you need to listen to what I'm saying. I've been to the ancient lost city. Seen it. It was off the coast of Lake Michigan.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
my boys are ready. I gotta go jump off.
Yeah, so here, for those of you who are unfamiliar with geography, pulling up a map here, and you see this, sure, you've got your Turkey and your Greek cunts up here, but
Wow.
literally right below them
That's how you really feel.
is it's Egypt. I mean, there's a reason why Cleopatra was Macedonian, which is basically Greek, which, you know, people like, Cleopatra's a black woman of color. You're like, no, you fucking retard. Historically, Cleopatra was a white woman because she's
They watched The Mummy and they saw that first scene where she was all painted up.
right. And then you realize that, listen, Alexander and the rest of these fucking schmucks, these Roman cunts, they were bouncing back and forth from Africa to their neck of the woods because they were so close. Just a small trip across the Mediterranean, and you're right there.
How about this generation just stops talking about shit it doesn't understand?
Right? So like again, so it's like, oh, it's a Greek myth, but dude, if the island is in the middle of the fucking Mediterranean here, guess what? It could be chock full of fucking black people the same way it's chock full of Greek people.
I was in a mall once with my wife, and this woman came up to us, and she was selling this cream, this skin cream, and she kept going, "I am from the Dead Sea. This is from the sands of the Dead Sea." She was in a mall kiosk. It was fucking creepy. It was like something out of Tales of the Crypt.
Jesus Christ, dude. Well, I hope she didn't curse you.
Fucking lights dimmed and shit. Like she definitely didn't curse me with thinner disease.
Oh, dude, that's exactly where I was thinking, thinner. I'm like, thank God you didn't have it.
Yeah, you know what though? What a hell of a diet plan. Hit an old gypsy with your Buick. I hit her with the fucking LeSabre. Lost 100 pounds in a week. Doing swell.
That's what Nikki did to lose the weight.
Yeah,
Yep.
she just brutally murdered an old gypsy woman.
That's right.
That's how she solves all of her problems. That's how she's going to get her next career opportunity. Brutally murder another gypsy woman and steal her secrets.
Yeah, so like again, I think because we're talking about fantasy made up. Now, if Atlantis was an actual like fucking like based on a real place, like a real group of people, and Marvel instead was like, no, we're taking this and we're doing something else.
I mean, there is one fair question to ask on everything though, and that's why would you change the origin, right? Like, what was the thought behind it? Is it so we can get more of the Latinx culture in there? Is it so you have a better story you can tell grounded in different realities?
Well, I would argue that there shouldn't be any. The whole reason why I brought this up is I don't think there should be any Latinx culture in Namor at all. I think he should not be Latin. I think he shouldn't speak Spanish. I think if you're gonna go Atlanta, Georgia, if you're gonna go Atlantis and this city was lost a millennia ago or however many years ago, it would predate any of the conquistadors raping and pillaging their way through Central and South America. Therefore, if there are any purebred indigenous peoples, they'd be in Atlantis, and Namor would look very, very, very native, versus this fucking Latino Shia LaBeouf looking cunt that's in this image.
And I think that's where people can actually have a legitimate gripe of like, we don't feel you're doing this for any other reason than to try to attack another marketplace you think's going to make you money by pandering.
Right.
And that's, I think, where people probably don't give a shit. Like, if you change the origin of a character and you give a good reason to the point where it makes more sense in the story, you'll still have people who bitch, but the bulk majority of, like, you and I would be like, all right, well, that makes sense. I mean, it's not like they made it dumb.
They did it with Samuel L. Jackson. Nick Fury, for the longest time, he was played by Hasselhoff. Yeah. He's a withered old white dude with missing an eye who's constantly smoking a cigar. But in the theaters,
he was a commando.
In the movies, they're like, nah. But
yeah, but that's where the movies change the comics, because didn't Nick Fury thereafter look like Sam Jackson in the comics?
Nick Fury from the Ultimates universe looked like Samuel Jackson. So like that's where they bothered him from. I mean, that's where they bought him. No.
I'm not wrong one.
The wrong one. That's where what's the word I'm looking for? He was influenced by the Ultimates comic book, that version of Nick Fury.
His character version. I mean, like, it's just, I don't know, like, I think the audience, in part of the negative of people getting older, is they start to see through the bullshit. So you have that generation that of, like, when they were younger, they didn't care, and now they're older and they're like, bro, really? And
then, then Heimdall. Heimdall's another one where people were pissed because Heimdall in Scandinavian mythology is, guess what? Not a black man who looks like Idris Elba.
Yeah, well, then you also have how we've talked it before about how they removed the, I guess, I've never read Moon Knight, but apparently the religion was a more focal point than it was in the show. People were pissy about that. It's all, I mean, it is what it is. The problem is people don't look at it as what it is, which is a business, you know what I mean? It's like they have a market that they're trying to attack. Miss Marvel is attacking a specific market. and unfortunately, they're forcing your average goer to participate in the market that's not focused on them. Because if everything intertwines, you have no more choice. You have to watch every product to understand everything. And if you don't have any interest in something, then you're shit out of luck. You got to watch it or have gaps.
I've been watching Ms. Marvel. It's not bad. It's okay. It's
No, I mean, I haven't watched any. My point is just like
Yeah, no.
that
Oh, I
old
see.
concept of like, you don't like it, don't watch it. That can't exist with Marvel and currently, because if you don't watch something, like look where I am now. I got to watch fucking what's her face Wanda TV show to really fully understand Doctor Strange 2.
right. Yeah, no,
And
listen.
it's like I don't have any interest in that. Now I have to watch it to understand content, or go find clips of it on YouTube, which is even sadder.
Jessica says, Michael D. Nicola, so something happened in Union Square. I watched for a good 45 minutes, 30 cops, and 5 EMS. Were you in Union Square itself? Union Square is 14th Street, the center of the beginning of downtown Manhattan. It's a
All right,
major...
dude, I gotta jump off.
Later, buddy.
You have good evening, Nikki. Have good evening.
You have a good day, buddy.
Have a good day.
I think I give you one.
Dude, it's fun making Matt laugh. I feel like Matt's a tough guy to make laugh, Nikki. Uh-oh, I saw a shadow in the background. Oh, she's talking to Joe. Ooh, I think she's yelling at Joseph. Good night, Nikki. I went to Strand and Forbidden Planet. Ooh, there's still a Forbidden Planet over by 14th Street?
I'm still here.
Oh,
Hello.
you were yelling at old Joe?
No, Dallas was being a butt.
Oh, you were yelling at the dog.
Yeah. Joe, what are you eating? Joe's making, I think, Chinese food.
That's a cultural appropriation.
Oh. Just kidding. He's making a hot pocket.
He's making a Chinese Hot Pocket?
No, he had Chinese earlier. He's making a hot pocket now.
What kind of Hot Pocket? Pepperoni?
What is it? What? Meatball and mozzarella.
Does he call you his little meatball?
No. What am I, Sticky? Get out of here.
Little meatball.
Get out of here.
I took pictures, says Jess. What do you think happened? Jeez. Hey, Nikki, I heard about that Chicago incident.
Highland?
Yeah, is that part of Chicago?
It's the richer part.
Damn.
Too. Everyone's like, oh, good old Chicago. And it's like, not really, bro. This is where you would usually go to think that you're safe. And it's all fucked up.
Well, you ain't safe no
Did you
more.
hear about that? Did you hear about that little boy?
Oh, his parents were assassinated.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who know, there's a 2-year-old boy out there currently whose both of his parents were executed during the holiday show or whatever. What was it, a parade?
Yeah, parade. Yeah, it was a parade.
See, that's why they should ban parades. Parades are the worst. God, I understand why parades existed in the 1920s, but like the second they invented TV, and by the time the internet came around, they should just fucking enough of these fucking parades. Enough. You know what? We don't need this anymore. This was fun during World War I and World War II. We're past parades. These are stupid. Again, I can't tell you the last time I was either at a parade or even bothered to watch a parade on TV. Of all the things, you're like, oh man, maybe I'm going to watch some of the best TV on television or some of the best movies out right now. No. Let's watch a bunch of fucking people walk down a street. What? Let's watch a bunch of fucking blown up balloon animals. Woohoo. I think someone, oh my god, somebody offed themselves in front of the Whole Foods? Whoa, what makes you say that, baby? Jesse, baby, what makes you say that? Not in front of the Whole Foods. I used to hang out at that Whole Foods. They had really good salads there, Nikki.
The Whole Foods by me is too far.
When you go to the Whole Foods, do they give you looks?
Because I don't belong there.
Yeah. Nikki wears a blonde
No.
wig when she goes to Whole Foods.
Can you imagine if I was blonde?
I think you pull it off.
Really? I think that'd be a lot of fucking work to maintain, though.
Yeah, no, it's a nightmare. I don't know how non-blonde, like non-white blonde people try to pull that off. I mean, they can, but it's just it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. No thanks. I'm
Yoji.
not spending money in hair color.
Maybe Yoji will go blonde one day. Yoji's gonna show up looking like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. Matt would have got that joke. God damn it.
Yeah, I figured as I sat here in silence, I was like, I'm sure he would have enjoyed a chuckle from somebody, and that person is not me.
It's okay. It's all right. It's no big deal. You didn't get a Twisted
This
Sister
is why I don't
reference.
come around anymore.
No, no, no.
I'm not smart.
I had a blonde streak. Like Rogue from the X-Men? The X-Men? Quasi Flavor Town. Ooh, Yoji had frosted tips in the 90s, I guess. Yeah, they called him Korean Fairy. Yoji running around looked like Korean Zach Morris. I saw something on the ground with a sheet over it. God damn, dude. Maybe somebody shot a dog. I mean, that'd be crazy, right? I had blonde highlights in high school. Wow, I never did that shit. I never, you know, I never had that compulsion to fuck with my hair like that. I basically either had a short haircut, you know, in the 90s when I was a wee lad, I had a little spiky at the front. I had just a little spiky at the front, and I thought I was cool as shit. I was not. The actor who played Zach Morris is a brunette, and he's half Malaysian. He dyed his hair for the show. Holy shit. Did he audition as a brunette? I didn't know he was a fucking happa. God, I thought that was the whitest white dude I'd ever seen. He wasn't part of the original cast. I had gray hair because of stress, so I covered it up. You had gray hair in high school? Maybe Jess hit a fucking gypsy with his car.
Huh.
Half of the cast of the original Saved by the Bell got axed before the ones... I think, who did they keep? They kept Screech, right? I think there was like one person that made it out of that original cast. Yes, I did. Nikki, are you gonna watch the Elvis movie in theaters?
No, I heard it was good though, but we didn't have any plans on seeing it.
Nikki, is Joseph gonna foreplay you during Elvis in the theaters?
No.
Did you ever hook up with
What?
anybody in the theaters when you were younger, teen?
I think like making out.
Yeah, I done that. Sit in
Nothing
the back
like
row.
too major though.
Dude, I
I
had
was
friends that
thinking
were just banging, that were full on banging in the theater.
I could never bring myself to do that because that's disgusting. I don't.
Theaters are gross, dude. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to fucking bare ass on those seats, man. I've
Yeah.
never been to a theater where I'm like, you know, it would be great if I took my pants off right now.
Yeah, let me just sit bare bum and no fucking way every time.
And
And
then-
people are like, oh, would you? Or like when you see movies, right? Like fucking like 90s movies, they're like, oh, they're giving hair. You know, she's giving head, and I'm just like, that's nasty though. Like, I'm not against head. I'm like, what are you possibly touching your chin on, bitch? Get out of here.
Yeah, and then you got to think of the ushers. You know, the movie theater employees that have to clean up your ball sweat off the seats afterwards. It's like, up.
Gross.
Hey, somebody needs to sweep up all this pussy juice on the floor. It's like, Bobby, we need you in theater 1, back row. There's coochie juice all over the floor. Coochie juice and popcorn.
Nah.
I got a handy in movie theater. That was fun. Did you come inside the popcorn bucket?
Yeah, how did you finish? I'm curious. Was
and
it
then-
her mouth or was it just like sploos all over a fucking napkin?
He came right into a box of peanut and M&Ms. He put his dick in the top of a slushie and then busted his nuts.
Oh, chilly.
Yoji, that actress. Yoji, were you here yesterday when we were going over her plastic surgery, or the day before? The actress for The Boys. She had this. She most likely had this face surgery, this plastic surgery that young actresses do, where they remove the quote unquote baby fat from your face, and it does give you a more chiseled look, but it ages you. It looks like you age 10 years because it literally sucks out all of the fleshy parts of your face that kind of like soften your face. So like, you know, when you're younger, you know, your face isn't sunken in wrinkles. You've got like this like kind of like, I don't want to say chubby cheeks, but you know, you've got
Yo, I got mad chubby cheeks.
your face is a little bit rounder, right? A little bit more fuller when you're younger. Baby fat. That stuff goes away as you age naturally. But apparently there's like a whole slew of young Hollywood starlets that are getting this, and others like Instagram influencers and TikTokers. They're getting this surgery done because it kind of removes those fatty, and it gives you a more defined look. But dude, not a good move, man, because I'm looking at her right now and she looks like she went from looking like a cute young girl next door type to looking like she's on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like
How
that.
does that one like here?
What's it? Oh yeah. Well, Nikki, damn it, I had the Reddit links up yesterday. You could see the before and after, man. It's pretty jarring, dude.
I don't think I'd ever fuck with my face like that.
I'm assuming, and the other thing is, and we talked about this too, there's no, like, that's it. Like, if you do that, there's no takesies backsies. Like, that's it, man. You can't put that shit back in your face. If you do, it's gonna look also weird. Like, it's just a no-win situation, man. I don't know why people, I guess it's Hollywood pressure? I don't fucking know. Oh, Jess said he busted in some lady's mouth. What were you watching? Were you watching Scary Movie 2?
We were watching Mean Girls.
He was watching Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. It was right when Aragorn took a knee and said, "You bow to no men, Frodo." That's exactly where he busted right in this lady's face. Hollywood amplifies body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of jerking off in the movie theater, look who it is. It's Rat Tail.
I'm gonna stop eating this shit.
Ratty Rat Tail says, Ratty Rat Tail says, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Like all the porn stars start off normal and then start looking weird a couple years. Dude. The porn star thing has always kind of bummed me out, man. Because they'll take girls who actually look rather beautiful, naturally. And then sure enough, man, time goes on. And their face, their bodies, they just starts morphing into like a monster. And then eventually they don't look any different from any other run-of-the-mill adult film star. Right, Rat Tail? That's right, Mikey. Male porn stars struggle to get it up over time. Oof. Not Yoji though. Yoji gets it up on a dime. A hard breeze. Yeah, you struggle to get it up now that you're done with your adult film industry, Rat Tail? Nikki, do you get your parents any gifts for the 4th of July?
People do that?
No, I just made it up.
No, I do not. Nope, nope.
Most male porn stars are using drugs to get it up. Ugh, God, that's dark, man. Well, yeah, dude, you have to keep a hard dick for hours on end for the shoot. And then you gotta take breaks, and then you gotta get hard again, and then you gotta keep it hard. And then you gotta be turned on, but not so turned on that you ruin the shoot by finishing before you're supposed to. And then you have to finish on command. And he's like, okay, we got all the shots we need. Now it's gone. Finish. And you're like, fuck, I've been holding in this whole time.
Excuse me.
What are you excusing yourself for?
Oh, you didn't hear that one?
No, would you fart into the mic again?
Oh, no. I did one of my hiccups and I thought you heard it because I missed the mute.
Or the surgery where the button is in the gooch area? The butt? Like the cum button? It's coming time! That's what Joe says when he finishes.
Oh god, no.
Joe calls Nikki Vecna whenever he busts his nuts. Nikki, do you get that reference?
Nope.
Oh boy. Oh,
I told
brother.
you know who you're talking to?
I'm talking to the pop culture guru, Nikki Gonzalez.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha.
Ho ho ho. It's Christmas, Nikki. Nikki, does Joe ever have you dress up as Mrs. Claus during the holidays?
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet. What's the... I don't think I've ever before. No. No, we never talked about that.
Also, the same couple guys in all mainstream studios. Or the surgery where the buttons in the gooch. No, they put an insert to get it erect. Ugh. Awful. Not the button in the gooch. Not the button in the gooch. Wait, so you were playing Phasmophobia with Elizabeth earlier?
Yep. Yep, while she was streaming.
How was the stream?
It was... She's going for about 8 hours of stream now.
Jeez.
Really putting into work, baby.
That is a ton of work.
Yep. I had fun. I went to go visit one of my friends. Had a baby on Monday, last Monday.
Whoa.
And then when I came back, they made some pretty strong cocktails, and I came back and jumped on hunting ghosts. I was like, hey, I'm here. It was fun. Always fun hanging out and playing with Liz.
I didn't know you had pregnant friends.
I have... Sister-in-law would be considered a friend, obviously. 5?
They're all pregnant right now?
One had their baby in February, the other one last Monday. The next one would be my actual nephew in 3 weeks.
Jeez.
And then the other one in August.
How old are these people?
Around my age, I would say between I would say between late 20s, early 30s.
Jeez. So you're up next.
No, sir.
Time to get you preggers.
No, I think I'm gonna get a snake.
Rattail says, congratulations, Nikki.
So many babies, so much money. The fuck? Oh man, it's fine though. Those will be. I'm gonna be an aunt forever. Minus Jake, of course.
Nikki, do you want a boy or a girl
For what?
for babies?
I don't know. I mean, both, right? Essentially, if they're healthy.
Yeah, no, sure.
I think maybe boys have a little bit more cuter outfits, or is it girls? I don't know. I haven't really been in the area to shop to like for toddler stuff because everybody's at newborn things. So that's where I've been.
Yeah, they basically put those things in potato sacks at first.
Yeah. Now you get to match them with the mom and dad, and they wear the same clothes, and it's wild.
You think Yoji's ever thought about having children?
I assume at one point people do, right?
Papa Yoji. My friend got a vasectomy today, so that's a thing. Sure.
I feel like it's always been a thing, yeah. Joe's had his for a while.
Yeah, Joe loves it. It's cream pie all day for old Joe.
Oh my god.
They call him Mr. Cream Puff, man.
Mr. Cream Puff Man. Oh.
Getting too old. Not sure about it, says Yoj. I wonder if Bernard's ever thought about it. Yoji. You know, my cousin mentioned to me the other day, she was like, how are you supposed to bring kids into this world?
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm like, dude,
It is true.
I'm like, man, there was a good set of decades there where people went from the Great Depression, World War One, to the Great Depression, to World War Two, in the matter of a few decades. And guess what? People were fucking like crazy. All kinds of kids popped up.
Like
And-
dandelions.
and
Like
they
John
made-
Moore's hair curls.
They made the Greatest Generation. So there you go.
Oh, Bernard has. That's cute. I love that.
He wanted lots of kids. He would be a good. He would. He's very patient. He's very thoughtful. Oops. He's very patient. He's very thoughtful. He's incredibly talented and hardworking, which is great, right? You do want somebody who can teach you about hard work and the rewards of said work. This lady needs something more. Maybe a fun background. Maybe something else. I don't know.
What's coming out of her hand? Like an orb or something?
Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe some magics.
It'll be a magics.
How many kids is a lot of kids? 4?
My friend just had her 7th one.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's too much.
She's like,
man.
that's it for me. And I was like, you think?
Yeah. That's been it for you, woman.
Yep.
For me, 4 is like, you might be overdoing it, but 7 is like, whoa, shit, man. You trying to start a baseball team?
There you go.
No, it broke mid fun times and I didn't notice and shot inside. Oh, oops.
I guess that's the plus side of like Joe having a vasectomy and me having stupid ovaries. No condoms needed.
Yeah. Stupid ovaries. Get out of here. All right. Nicole, it's that time.
It's that time, buddy.
It's been on 3.5 hours. My feet is getting tired. I've drawn a little
Aw.
something here, but there's not much to it. But I'm going to finish this off in my own time, Nicole.
Well, it was lovely hanging out with you, sir.
I'll be back on tomorrow. But I got to find a more reasonable time to get online and like stick to it. I got to make a schedule and stick to it, dude. I don't know why
It's
I can't,
hard.
man.
I don't have a schedule anymore because, like, with summertime and stuff populating, just like random things going on, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. It's always easier to do it in like the fall or winter time.
I need a schedule. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. If I'm a reasonable time.
Yeah, we might do a break. We're binge watching The Boys tomorrow. Boop, 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 boop.
Ooh, all right. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.